lying dead in the woods. Are they absolutely sure it's not him?
Friends and family are still urging authorities to double-check the body, or at the very least bring in Justin as a suspect.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You can dial in right here. The toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And also our Discord on-air call-in line rooms are open and available to you on a historic day here in New England. We're broadcasting this program from our beautiful LRN.FM studios in Keene, New Hampshire. Unfortunately, the history was not made by New Hampshire today. The history was made by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Common it is.
Not particularly a freedom-oriented place in general.
It's the birthplace of freedom. Birthplace of liberty.
Well, it didn't last very long. Now
it's known as Taxachusetts.
By the way, with you tonight, it's Ian here.
And Vincent.
And Mark.
And so what they did was a couple years ago now, actually 2016, the election, there was a ballot measure to legalize cannabis for recreational purposes there in Massachusetts. Maine also had one, but I don't think their doors are open yet at any Maine dispensaries for recreational. So today was the first legal day for recreational cannabis sales in the state of Massachusetts.
And New England.
Well, right, and all of New England by default. In fact, everything east of the Mississippi, I believe, Massachusetts is the first recreational sales now happening state. Because there's other areas that it's been legalized. So Vermont, it's legal there. You can grow it, you can smoke it, you can possess it. I don't know what the amounts are offhand, but
you can't sell it.
Up to X amounts. In Maine, you can also, grow and possess, I believe. The sales is coming, but it's not there yet. Vermont does not have a system yet for any kind of legal sales, but you can give it away, and again, you can possess and you can grow. So Vermont, Maine, Massachusetts, and Washington D.C., Michigan, I believe, just legalized it this year, if I recall correctly, at the ballot. So
coming quick. The states that want this revenue need to start now.
Right. I was just naming east of the Mississippi, then west of the Mississippi. If I'm going by memory here, so correct me if I'm missing one. West of the Mississippi, Colorado, Washington. Those were the first two in the United States. California now, Nevada, and didn't Alaska do it?
Alaska, yeah, that was what I was going to say.
Yeah. So
the entire
Guam,
West Coast.
I believe Guam as well. And I don't know what the mix is out there as far as where their recreational sales are. I know that California and Alaska and Nevada were a little late to the game, so I'm not sure what their status is. But if you want to weigh in, you're certainly welcome to. It's a historic day here for the East Coast with Massachusetts opening up 2 stores. Not the state, by the way. These are privately run stores. And one of them...
Yeah, we forgot to mention the entire country of Canada.
Oh, well, yeah, I was talking about the United States.
I know, but it's worth mentioning.
But yes, just within weeks, it was the entire country of Canada, although there's a bit of a patchwork there as well with each different area in the province
and territory
having different rules as far as age, as far as who's able to sell it. In some areas, it's the government that actually has it in their stores. In some areas, they actually are allowing private dealers. So in Massachusetts, they do have private companies offering these things. And the way they rolled it out, or they are rolling it out, is they're allowing the existing medical distributors, because they've had medical now for several years in Massachusetts. So they're allowing the medical facilities to be the first to go into recreational. So they get that kind of favor, basically, because they get to they get in early, they get to charge the maximum amount you'll probably ever see charged legally,
right,
for
big
cannabis.
Profits.
Right, big profits. And I imagine prices are going to come down as more stores start to open up. There are already a handful more that I saw a news report tonight saying that are going to be coming soon. So, within a year or so, you're going to see even more of these stores sprouting up across Massachusetts. I imagine Maine will be coming shortly thereafter, and who knows which other states will be going soon. But I wanted to share this report here from WHDH-TV out of Boston. I went there today, and of course I brought my video camera with me, and I thought, it would be fun to ask people in line some questions. Did you think this was going to happen in your lifetime? Were you a marijuana user before today? Could we find somebody in that line of hundreds of people waiting outside this place who has actually never smoked cannabis? But
it seems unlikely.
It was not a particularly good day as far as weather was concerned. It was freezing cold and raining / slightly snowing at the same time.
Nobody wanted to hang out and answer your questions?
No. I didn't want to get my camera out. I don't have any kind of like weather protectant.
It's called a plastic bag with a hole cut for the lens.
Yeah, I don't have that. So I was not prepared for that. And basically we just stood and hung out in the line, and we got there. Daryl went down with me, and Jackie, and also a gentleman named Bob from this area. So we had a nice little carpool of activists from the Keene area who went down, and we got there at about 7:10 in the morning. So left Keene at around 6 a.m.
That's pretty serious business.
Yep. Well,
to get you to wake up that early,
huh?
Well, no, just knowing you're getting up that early.
Yeah, I mean, I don't generally like to get up that early, but if I've got something to do, then I will get up and I'll get out of bed. And I have, and I have not taken a nap today. I'm relatively lucid, all things considered. But so drove down there bright and early before the sun even came up here. And when we got there, I'm gonna say there were 200 people ahead of us in the line. And the reason I know
Stoners up at 7?
Huh?
Stoners up at 7?
Yeah, believe it or not, some of them are actually responsible, Mark. These are probably people who had to work at some point in the day and figured they'd get it done in the morning and then go to work in the afternoon, or whatever. Who knows what their reasons were for being there? But everybody was relatively in good spirits despite the nasty weather. It was kind of one of those Black Friday style lines where people kind of just getting to know one another a little bit and hanging out and talking about things.
That's your first Black Friday line?
No, this wasn't Black Friday, Mark. It's Tuesday.
I understand. Is that the first time you've done something like that?
No, how would I compare it to something I haven't done?
I'm asking you if you've been to Black Friday.
Yes, I've done Black Friday more than once.
Okay.
Well, I see you should compare it to like when the Phantom Menace first opened, because all the people were all the fans of the same thing compared to like Black Friday when people riot and trample each other.
That's a good point. I mean, the rioting and the trampling on Black Friday is fairly pronounced due to the news media. It's not that common in real life. I mean, you don't generally see that kind of behavior. I mean, the odds are if you go to a Black Friday, you're probably not going to see a fight. You're not going to see anybody push somebody down and get trampled. It's so rare. The reason why they're showing you it on the media is because it's a rare event. But regardless, so some people are calling it Green Tuesday today here in Massachusetts, and so we waited. I would say again, we got there at 7:10. The store opened at 8. So we got there a solid, almost an hour before they opened up the doors.
Okay.
And after they opened the doors, it took about 2-ish hours, about just over 2 hours for us to get from where we were, which was sort of like, I don't know how to describe it. We were like basically across the parking lot. People were lined up around the block on this thing. And so we weren't not even halfway around the block. So we got there, I think, at a decent time. Apparently, there was one guy who got there at 12 in the morning, and his intention was to be the first person who legally purchased cannabis. And I think
good for him.
Yeah, I think they're going to interview him in this piece here over at WHDH-TV.
Spark up the sales.
It's historic for the city, and it's a historic moment for the Commonwealth.
Now, you gotta love it when mainstream media is using like titles like "Spark up the sales."
Yeah.
Now it's cool. Now it's cute.
They have a green frame.
Yeah, sure. And there was another one earlier that was something about buds, getting your buds or something. I forget what it was, but this sort of cutesy, marijuana, everything's cool now.
People were going to jail yesterday.
Right, yeah. Not just a matter of years ago, this was a thing that would ruin somebody's life, purportedly. And now it's like,
right. Al, how about that weather?
Yep.
69. I've been waiting for this my whole life.
Massachusetts is lining up for this marijuana milestone.
And
yes, history.
There was. Did you hear the exhaling breath? Yes. There was an exhaled breath of smoke that just breezed past the logo for the marijuana milestone. They're really doing it up here at WHD.
Yeah, well, that's because the producer's ahead. This is the reason.
The producer's a pothead?
Yeah.
Well, there's a good chance of it, yeah.
I think it shows how also controlled the media is, that the narrative could shift in like a day, right? Now we're at war with East Asia compared to yesterday it was Eurasia. It's just It's just narrative shift,
Your calls and thoughts are welcome, whether it's on cannabis legalization. Day number 1 in Massachusetts. Lines around the block in the middle of a pretty nasty day as far as weather was concerned. People came out anyway. This is Free Talk Live. We'll continue coming up.
From the third letter of Captain Mark. The Crown's observation conditions us to be dishonest with ourselves. Therefore, constant surveillance produces a society of constant deception. Honest communication is the seed of civilized conduct. To deny us this seed is to deny us its fruits. But the Crown's primary objective is to stifle free thought itself, to make its subjects incapable of dissent. Seasoned pirates have always encrypted messages and codes and ciphers, so intercepted transmissions were incomprehensible. But today, the Crown possesses advanced tools of pattern recognition that document, profile, and predict our every move. Today, piracy requires hailing frequencies completely invisible to the Crown. We are tired of poltergeists in the static. Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink, like we have. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening at home anytime, anywhere, from your smartphone. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. Get your Blink camera system starting at less than $100 by visiting blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here. Just dial in toll-free to join us. Our number is 855-450-FREE on Green Tuesday, the very first day of legal recreational cannabis sales in Massachusetts. I was there for the opening of this thing. I wasn't the first through the door. They let the mayor, actually, of Northampton come in there first.
That's funny.
And I think they've got an interview with him here at WHDH, and he made a symbolic purchase as the first purchaser there in Northampton. So that's kind of cool for a politician to do that. Although I doubt he led the charge to to legalize it, as many politicians have jumped on board the bandwagon on this in a big way, acting like, oh yeah, I've always been interested in marijuana. I've just voted against it my entire life,
right,
until now.
It's amazing to see how many of these Republican politicians are ending up on boards of these marijuana companies.
Indeed. All right. So it's not just Republicans. Democrats have also been against legalization in many cases as well. And one thing that there was one disappointment, I would say, today, and that is that the facility that it's called NETA, or NETA, New England. I should have looked this up. Anyway, NETA, NetaCare is the facility, and they don't take cryptocurrency, at least not yet.
Well, they're not in New Hampshire.
No, that's true. But I did ask them about it. And if they wanted to take crypto, all they'd have to do is go and sign up over at anypay.global. It's super easy to do that if you are a retailer of whatever it is that you retail, whether it's a completely legal product or one that in some states might still be questionable. Anypay.global can help you accept cryptocurrency for your purchases. And whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Dash or Zen, there are several choices as far as cryptos that you can accept through AnyPay. That's anypay.global. You just create your username and password. You put your cryptocurrency wallet addresses in the setup page, and then load the app up on your point-of-sale device. It is that simple, and that's how fast you can be accepting crypto, like within moments of getting signed up. It's pretty awesome, and it's free for the merchants. So anypay.global. As we continue here with WHDH7 out of Boston, reporting on what happened today in Northampton and the other location, Leicester. It's one of those weirdly spelled and strangely pronounced Massachusetts names, Leicester. It's not as bad as Worcester.
Yeah.
But we were all trying to figure out how it was pronounced when we were driving today.
Worcester, which is spelled Worcester.
Right. It looks like Leicester or Leicester or something like that, but it's actually apparently just Leicester.
Just Leicester.
In Massachusetts. So here's the story from WHDH.
Made in Massachusetts with 2 recreational pot shops opening today. These are the first on the East Coast.
Thousands of people lined up to be among the very first customers. Now we're learning the shop in Leicester is no longer letting people get in line. So we have Team 7 coverage here at 6 o'clock from the long lines outside to the stores to what's next for recreational marijuana. Let's cover it all. Jonathan Hall begins us off in Leicester live. John?
They've had, by the way, I've watched a few of these different packages they put together. This is the third different package on the same link. So when I linked this earlier from the Free Talk Live Twitter and Mastodon, it had a completely different video on this page, one that actually featured me. The first one had me being interviewed, and I don't know if this one will. I don't think it does.
Oh, Adam, we're sure going to try. We've heard about the bad lettuce. Well, here's another leafy substance that these folks say is safe. Cultivate is the store that is open now in Leicester selling marijuana. Price is high, sometimes double what people are used to paying. But for cannabis lovers who have earned to shake off the stigma of being a smoker of marijuana, this feels like a national holiday.
Yeah, I'll comment on the prices here briefly as well.
Yeah, that's something I'm pretty interested in. And also, go ahead.
Well, Jackie, if you could hand me that list on your left over there, the price list from earlier today. So the prices were, the news reporter's accurate. They were, I would say, 50 to 100% more than what you would probably pay on the black market.
So other than this being sort of the first day that you could buy marijuana legally east of the Mississippi in the United States, is there any good reason to go to one of these stores or just have it delivered to your house by your local pot dealer?
Well, I mean, if you've already got a reliable black market dealer, then there's not really any reason to go to one of these stores besides the fact that
The THC gummy bears.
Well, besides
they have rare things like like actual manufactured edibles, right? That could be it has like the dosages listed. It has wax concentrate that's not made out of butane or whatever. I think it's like obviously for flower, it seems like a waste of time to go there compared to like a dealer who could grow it anywhere.
Your cannabis flowers, by the way, the rates here. So, quarter ounce of cannabis flowers, $100. Which there's not even a discount there between the eighth of an ounce and the quarter ounce. The eighth of an ounce is $50, quarter ounce is $100, half ounce $175, full ounce is $300. Now that's the maximum that you can own legally as an individual in Massachusetts. Is
$300 for an OZ, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
better be some good weed.
It is certainly going to be good weed. I mean, there's no doubt that this is quality product. And eventually these prices are going to down. I should add, these are the medical prices that I just read to you. The actual end cost is 20% higher. It's 20% higher. So $300 would actually be $360 after the $60 tax is added in there. And there's a few different taxes. I happen to have a receipt here that somebody just randomly handed me. Of course, I wouldn't admit to purchasing anything and taking it across federal boundaries. But somebody handed me this receipt, and this was a $70 purchase. Local marijuana tax, $2.10. So that's going to the city of Northampton. Sales tax, $4.38. Marijuana excise tax, $7.53.
Keeps going.
Your total tax on a $70 purchase of what appears to be 5-pack of pre-rolled joints, that is a $14 total tax on that. So the government of Massachusetts is going to be very, very happy when the sales numbers are totaled up for today. And to get back to your question, Vincent, if you've got a good dealer, what's the motivation to go here? Yeah, it's definitely the fact that you have a larger choice. You have a larger range of options. Everything, of course, from various different types of marijuana flower, of indica and sativa varieties. Half a dozen, maybe close to a dozen different edible products. Everything from, they got gems and chews and chocolate bars and nuggets. Now, there's a few products that are reserved only for medical patients for some reason. So you cannot buy a brownie as a recreational patient, at least at this place. There's another store over in the Boston area. So we went to the one in Northampton, which is on the kind of the west side of the state. So I don't know what the Boston area store is carrying. Pre-rolled joints. So for people that don't want to do the work of the joints, there's shatter and wax, which are the products that you can put into a vaporizer, and the very, very high THC products. And 1 gram of those is retailing for $60 and $50 respectively. So if you were to go on the darknet,
all this stuff's new to me.
If you were to go on the darknet, for instance, you might be able to get those same products for $20 or $30 less per gram. As far as flowers are concerned, pretty much anywhere on the black market, you're going to get a better price. Any dealer basically is going to give you a better deal than the store. But there's something to the experience of being able to go and purchase a thing that has forever in our lifetimes been illegal. And to experience what it's like in an actual, not free market, but an actual market that's not a black market. More coming up.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial in toll free to bring up whatever you want. Our number here, it's 855-450-FREE. Were you in Massachusetts today, and did you experience the grand opening of, well, two places that were technically already open? They were medical facilities, but they're grand opening as recreational cannabis distribution facilities in Massachusetts. The first day of this, of any legal recreational sales of cannabis east of the Mississippi. So this was a pretty momentous day for the process of legalization.
Colorado yawns.
And as one man put it in his interview at WHDH, he's been waiting for this his entire life. He's 69 years old, and he's been waiting for this day his entire life, a Vietnam veteran. And of course, if you want to join us here, 855-450-FREE. And I do want to let you know about the Blink motion-activated HD camera system. This is a way for you to protect your property and your family over at blinkprotect.com/FTL. Motion-activated HD quality wireless cameras. Wireless meaning they're super easy to get set up because you don't have to run a bunch of wires everywhere, which is an incredibly time-consuming and annoying and costly process. Why not do it wirelessly with Blink? Go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. You get your Blink camera system starting at less than $100 if you want. blinkprotect.com/FTL. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. Once again, blinkprotect.com/FTL. Got the report here from WHDH. It's a television station out of Boston. And as I was pointing out, that they've been doing these reports all day. They had reporters on the scene bright and early. They were there before we got there.
had all their news trucks set up. Multiple news organizations from around the region, Boston all the way to Western Massachusetts, were present and reporting live. So this is HDH's coverage here that continues. They're reporting out of the other location first, which is Leicester, Mass., which is close to Boston.
They lined up in Leicester, waiting for hours. You feel like you're part of something big here?
Oh, this is cool. Tons of people out here. Can't believe how many people out here. The traffic, the crowds, it's awesome.
Waiting to buy weed at a high retail price.
Hi, Mom. Remember all those times you busted me?
It's funny.
And he gives the thumbs up. Now, there is something that I did notice, that it seems like the majority, like the super majority of the customers today were male. Now, I don't know why that is.
It's the gender more likely to take risks.
Could be, but what's the risk?
Happy to pay it. This guy drove in from Framingham. What are you doing way out here?
This guy.
Oh, I'm going to smoke.
You like it?
Yeah, I'm going to get high, yeah. Hey, shout out to my girlfriend. Yo, I'm here. Woo!
The very first customer in Army National...
That's a archetype
stereotype,
there.
Yeah, they cut me out to put him into this, this news
they're
package.
right to do it.
Guard veteran wounded in Iraq. Stephen Mandley says he temporarily lost his VA benefits when he began advocating for the legalization of marijuana.
It's kind of like completing something where I started advocating for cannabis 3 years ago. Kind of like vindication of following this all the way through and doing it even though, VA policy and stuff was telling me that I'm wrong and I shouldn't be doing this.
By 2:30, new customers were being turned.
That was, by the way, their first customer. So he was previously a medical patient there, and then came in to be their sort of kickoff customer.
He waited many hours to do that too.
Yeah.
Turned away from the line, even though closing was planned for 8 p.m. Cultivate's president calls this day historic. The payoff for him?
The big thing is seeing everybody come in, seeing everybody's faces and how happy they are to see this moment finally arrive.
Not to mention the oodles and oodles of cash money coming in as well, because
no doubt
they were making money hand over fist, and that's great. I think it's wonderful.
They were making so much money they limited the amount of stuff you could buy so that they could get other people in.
Yeah, they had to.
Yeah,
they had to. They were already running out. I mean, it took, like I said, we got there at 7:10. And by the time we got in there, they were already out of a handful of items at that point.
I wonder if they run low, do they call a weed dealer?
I doubt that. There's a bunch of stupid regulations as far as you have to have tracking. I haven't looked at Massachusetts, Mark, but I suspect they've used boilerplate and copied over some of the other state laws. There's usually some kind of tracking RFID tag that each plant has to have. And there's a whole ridiculous system where they're trying to keep a track on all of the different marijuana that's being grown and sold. It's obviously something that product can leak out of, but I don't know how easy it is to leak product into that system.
No parking here except for the disabled. You can see that bus kind of behind the Cultivate sign. People are being shuttled in, and Cultivate expects about 2,000 people at least will have purchased marijuana here by 8 o'clock when they close. We're live in Leicester. I'm Jonathan Hall, 7 News.
So this place in Leicester, actually, at about 2:30 this afternoon, there was a news report saying they told people no more. We're not going to take any new customers. And what they had been doing was, he mentioned they were bussing them in. So they had there was a greenhouse that's not part of this operation. It's another company that they'd contracted with for parking space half a mile down the road, and said, look, go park at this place. We'll bus you over to the facility. So there was the line at the facility, and then there was also a line at the greenhouse parking lot of people waiting to get on the shuttle bus.
Jeez.
So there were two lines. So they told the people at one point this afternoon, 6 hours before they closed, saying, we're cutting off the line in the parking lot. Do not get in line. If you're here by now, you're going to get in. If you're here after now, you're not going to make it in today.
Tough cookies.
So don't even stay.
Tough marijuana cookies.
Yeah. So that's what happened out in Leicester.
So this huge turnout today, long lines at both stores as people wait to legally buy recreational marijuana. The long wait definitely didn't turn people away from purchasing pot. Neither did the rain. In fact, some had to be shuttled to the shop in Leicester from another parking lot. 7's Justin Doherty live with more on that.
And you mentioned the shuttling. This is one of those vans that people have actually had to get into to be taken to the dispensary and now taken back, because this parking lot, it may be closed off now to new customers, but all the cars still remain, and no one expected a crowd like this.
Parties of pot enthusiasts packing into shuttle.
Though. You went rather early for this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I totally expected a large crowd. It actually was smaller than I thought it was going to be.
How many people was it?
Well, as I said, when I got up there to the line at about 7:10, so let me see if I can explain this. So you got the parking lot in front of the building, relatively small lot, but around this parking lot is the sidewalk, and so we were at the very end of like the second leg of the side of the sidewalk. So like there was the first side, then there was the second side. So we were sort of like on the front, across from the front of the building. And so there were, and the reason I have a number as far as an estimate is concerned, because when we got up through about not quite halfway through our distance that we had to get to the front door, some guy started walking by and counting people. So I asked him, at what point when he reached me, and he was about 150. So I would say we started at about 200 people back. Yeah. And it took about 2 hours since they opened the doors. So again, we got there at 7:10, but they opened at 8, and we got in at about 10 a.m., just after 10 a.m. So it took about 2 hours for them to get through that first couple hundred customers. It was a pretty efficient process. I mean, all things considered, you can only have so many clerks in a space, and they had a bunch of clerks and a bunch of stations, and they moved people through very quickly once they got them inside, because it was one of those kind of like coffee shop style things where you knew what the menu was. You had your order ready by the time you got to the person at the register. So going on here.
Vans after waiting in the rain and cold for hours.
Just want to make history. First time available to do that.
Just decided, well, we'll see what it's all about, and it's legal, so let's try it.
Customers first coming down the road from the dispensary to park their cars at
like
Everlast Nursery. The owners here happy to help.
No, I think she was just trying the legal weed.
I see.
More coming up here in moments. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. More from the first day of legal recreational cannabis sales in all of the eastern side of the United States. It's Free Talk Live.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
What's in store this Black Friday at your local Staples?
Comfort.
And joy.
As in the comfort of a Staples gaming chair.
And the joy of big Black Friday savings.
Great for work or play, Staples gaming chairs are just $99.99, 50% off.
Plus, you'll find huge Black Friday savings at Staples on the hottest holiday tech, laptops, printers, tablets, and more.
The most wonderful deals of the year are at Staples this Black Friday, where there's a whole lot in store.
Valid 11/22 to 11/26/18 while supplies last.
I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's premier home purchase lender. We've created a new way to protect you from unpredictable interest rates. Our exclusive Rate Shield approval. First, we lock your interest rate for up to 90 days. Then, if rates go up, your rate stays locked. But if rates go down, your rate drops. Either way, you win. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. Dial in toll free to join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. By the way, coming up tonight, we're going to do something a little bit special. We're doing our very first ever Twitch-only stream. So we've been broadcasting on Twitch, which is a video streaming service. We've been doing our regular radio show hours, 7 to 10 Eastern, every single night on Twitch. And we've been doing that now since January. So it's been almost an entire year. And we've actually yet to do something special to Twitch only. And so, Vincent, you and I were talking during your show, Questioning Authority, I think it was 2 weeks ago. And we were talking about, we ought to do this. I'd been kind of teasing around in my head of the idea of doing this. Like, let's just do this. We'll do it this coming Tuesday.
Suddenly it seemed like a good idea.
Yeah. And so we're going to do that tonight. It's going to be after our radio show ends. We're going to go for at least an hour. We've committed to doing an hour. After the show, which of course means we won't have any commercial breaks because we're not going to be on the radio. And so basically the format of the show will still be open phones, meaning that we'll still take calls. We won't have our toll-free numbers, but we'll have our Discord call-in lines, and we'll have a local 603 number.
I'll bet you some people use cuss words.
It would be allowed, actually. There would be no FCC censors will be in the house tonight after 10 o'clock Eastern on our Twitch stream. If you're not yet following, you can go to twitch.lrn.fm. You can do that there. We will take a short break after our radio show's done and come back right.
Gotta get things set up
within just a few moments. There's not much to set up, but bathroom break or whatever. So stick with us on the Twitch feed. Go to twitch.lrn.fm. You can follow us there. There's a Twitch app you can download as well. If you're not able to watch, you can always listen as well. The Twitch app has a audio only version, so if you prefer to conserve a little bit of bandwidth and still hear what happens, you can do that as well. But because it'll be Twitch only, we'll be able to pay full attention to the Twitch chat room, and we're not even going to be on LRN.FM. We will not be on YouTube. I've decided Twitch. This is just going to be Twitch, so give people a reason to go and check that out if they haven't yet done so. Twitch.lrn.fm starts tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. As we continue here, Ian, Vincent, and Mark in the studio, as I'm just kind of doing a recap, playing back the audio from WHDH's latest report from Green Tuesday, as 2 different locations in the state of Massachusetts, or the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, have opened up as of today for recreational cannabis sales. It's a historic day, and I thought HDH did a good job of covering it, and I didn't do any coverage because it was raining and I just didn't have the equipment for it. But let's go on here with their reporting from a parking lot where people were shuttling over from a greenhouse parking lot, or I guess a garden
shop kind of place where they had plenty of parking. The lot, by the way, filled up today. So they could hold 140 cars. It filled by midpoint this afternoon.
Gives you some idea how many people were there?
Yeah, there were a ton of people there.
Help out. They're new neighbors.
They're great neighbors.
Yeah.
This is the owner of the garden center.
The whole event is incredible. It reminds me of Woodstock.
From here, the shuttle van drivers load up as many as 16 people to take them to shop. One driver told us he's taken at least 70 round trips throughout the day.
It's awesome when I see these happy faces. They don't even care about the snow. They have traveled like 1-2 hours.
The amount of people exceeding expectations for everyone involved in this joint effort.
It obviously does put a stress on our resources, but we're committed to making this work. We'll have officers here as long as they're needed.
I anticipated a lot of people, but I guess I didn't expect an insane amount of people.
Well, the cops did, at least from my observation, they tended to stand back. They tended to be smiling. They weren't, they didn't seem to be intimidating.
Yeah,
they didn't seem to be intimidating. I think if somebody had openly consumed in front of them, they probably would have gone ahead and issued a ticket because in Massachusetts it is still illegal to smoke the cannabis in public. It may be
pretty
illegal.
Much illegal most places to drink alcohol in public too.
True.
To be clear,
it may be illegal to consume it in any way, but I don't have the actual statute in front of me, so I don't know for sure about that. But it would be a little harder to detect somebody popping a candy in their mouth as opposed to actually lighting up a marijuana cigarette here.
And again, we mentioned the shuttle vans. They're still bringing people from the dispensary back to the parking lot because here's a look at the cars. Look how many cars are still here tonight. And again, we talked to several people who bought some marijuana, talked to 2 people who pulled into line just to park at 7:30 this morning. They weren't able to buy their marijuana until 3:15 this afternoon.
My God, that
Leicester.
is way more crowded than what it was out in Northampton, which is on the west side of the state. Because, like I said, we got there. He just said 7:30 in the morning. They didn't get the marijuana till 3-ish in the afternoon. We were done and out of there by 10:15 in the morning.
Wow.
And we had to wait for 3 hours to get in, but either way.
Tonight, Justin Dory, 7 News.
Northampton seeing those long lines as well as hundreds wait to be a part of this marijuana history in the Commonwealth. And today, Northampton's mayor was the first customer to make a purchase. Let's go out to Charmin Sacchetti, who's live in Northampton with that story and sort of how things are going. Still busy behind you, we see, Charmin.
Still very busy. As of a few hours ago, the company said more than 1,000 people had come through the store and purchased products. Well, I'm looking at this parking lot, and it appears as though there are still hundreds more.
Yep. I believe it.
Applause and cheers greeting the first legal marijuana customers in line at New England Treatment Access in Northampton. Was it worth the wait?
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Daquan Hamilton of Northampton says he showed up and waited nearly 8 hours before the store opened its doors.
I really wanted to be the first in line. I knew that this was going to be, a benchmark, historical moment for the state and the country, and I really wanted to be there.
This is terrific. This Vietnam veteran from Connecticut broke down in tears after making his first legal purchase.
I'm almost 69. I've been waiting for this my whole life. I didn't mean to get this emotional, but I broke down in there. It's been a long time waiting. A lot of my buddies never made it.
The very first sale here went to the...
That's pretty,
Yeah.
It's pretty sad.
Yeah. It's amazing how these news could just pop it right in there. And yeah.
He's 69 years old, so he would have been 18, 19 years old in 1969. He's about the age of my father. Which, my dad was a hippie in 1969, so that would have been that time frame. And then people thought this was going to be legal in the 70s. There was a movement to legalize it back then, and they thought it was going to happen back then. And now here we are 40 years after that.
Mayor of Northampton, a veteran and supporter of legalized marijuana. He bought a chocolate bar.
My thought was to get, to have it sort of framed in sort of a display case and in my office.
What a square.
Raspberry or watermelon? Raspberry. The law says you can buy...
Oh, there's Daryl. Daryl showed up with his back to the camera, but unfortunately they didn't interview him. A few of us did get interviewed by different news organizations. Jackie, Daryl's girlfriend, was interviewed by a couple of different. There was the newspaper, the local Gazette, I think it was, And then also PBS television was apparently out there out of Boston. And then WHDH, the one we're playing here, interviewed me as well.
Buy 1 ounce of marijuana in flower form or 5 grams of concentrate. There are
That's
dozens of products to choose from, including pre-rolled joints, gummies, brownies, and lotion. For a select few, the wait was worth it. They got a price break.
I got the multi-pack. And because I was one of the first 10 people, I got it for $1. So I can't beat that.
Wow.
Yep. Can't beat that.
And the company
Doorbuster
is
deals.
open
Pot
until
shop.
10 o'clock tonight, so about 4 hours left to go, at least for tonight's sales. We can tell you that the line is just, it appears, never ending. We're live here in Northampton. Charmin Sacchetti, 7 News.
Yeah, and
if you're planning on buying bud, there are limits on how much pot you can purchase at one time anyway. Under state law, you are limited to only 1 ounce of flour or 5 grams of marijuana concentrate.
That was the buying bud frame that...
See, all of his slang, he could use pot, bud...
So anyway, that's the coverage.
Weed.
That's some of the coverage from WHDH television out in Massachusetts today. With like almost, I mean, I'm not going to call it wall to wall, but that was a 7.5 minute long news package with 3 different reporters reporting from 3 different locations. If this was a half-hour long news show, this was a third of their news product today was dedicated to just this one story. It's a big story.
That's out of Springfield?
If
HDH is in Boston.
Okay.
If it's about weed, it leads.
At least right now it does, and I think that's great news. So
if it's airing in Springfield, it's offsetting the murders. I mean, good Lord.
There's a journalism pun, but whatever.
So our toll-free number here tonight is 855-450-FREE. If you want to join us here on this epic day for the folks down in Massachusetts, while those of us here in the so-called live free or die state still await any
smoking illegal weed.
But there's a cost to getting it legally. That's one thing I want to bring up.
What do you mean? What cost?
Well, I mean, did they check your did they check anyone's like ID?
Oh, you better believe it.
Oh, gee, well, or do you think they might be collecting records for that? And what aren't you allowed to own or buy if you are a user of an addictive substance?
That's an excellent question. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think there's any evidence that it's an addictive substance.
Well, no, but that's what they call it, and then they use that to not let people own certain things.
You mean like guns?
Yes, absolutely guns.
All right. So, of course, Massachusetts already doesn't want you to own guns. So if you've got a gun in Massachusetts
and you're not a cop,
look out. There's more coming up here in moments. It is Free Talk Live. Hour 2 next.
Attention parents and grandparents, have you ever wanted to give a gift that would have lasting value and provide spiritual benefits long after Christmas is over? A gift you could even call an investment in the next generation? If so, this is going to be the single most important message you'll hear this holiday season. Hi, I'm Bill Hyde, and I want to tell you about an exciting gift, one you can give your kids or grandkids that's going to teach Christian history, build up their faith, provide extraordinary role models, and it's all done with a distinctive Christian worldview. I'm talking about the award-winning Movies for the Mind CD sets, based on the extraordinary adventures of G.A. Henty audio series. The best part? You can finally give a Christian gift to the kids that's not boring, dull, or cheesy. The audio adventures also build vocabulary, focus, and attention span, but they're not sold in stores, and you can't get the adventures at any big internet retailers either. So to learn more, even get below wholesale pricing, and a whole bunch of Christmas bonuses, go to GiveTheAdventure.com. That's GiveTheAdventure.com. The perfect gift for kids of all ages, from 6 to 100. Go to GiveTheAdventure.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, November 19th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.39 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,221 per ounce. Zen is trading at $10, and the average price of Bitcoin is $5,191. Antiwar.com reports continuing weeks of near-daily civilian death tolls from the U.S. air war in eastern Syria. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights has reported that Saturday's U.S. attacks killed 40 more people, overwhelmingly civilians. The victims were described as mostly women and children. Saturday's attacks were against the village of Abu al-Hassan along the Iraqi border. This is adjacent to towns held by the Islamic State that the U.S. has been mostly attacking in recent weeks and which Kurdish ground troops are attempting to invade. The Syrian Observatory said it was unclear if any men killed in the attacks were actually militants, but that 17 children and 12 women were confirmed among the slain. In general, these attacks have targeted residential areas, not militants. The U.S., as is increasingly typical of these incidents, has not offered any commentary on the matter at all, though earlier in the war they would try to explain such killings, or at least deny involvement. In the past weeks, they seem simply to be refusing all comment. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. Reuters reports authorities on Sunday sifted through the charred wreckage of California's deadliest ever wildfire, searching for any sign of the 993 people now listed as missing after the Camp Fire tore through the mountain town of Paradise. The number of believed missing fell 283 late on Sunday, down from 1,276 people, according to the Butte County Sheriff's Office, but gave no other details. The remains of 77 people have been recovered, according to officials. The blaze, ignited on November 8th, was 65% contained, up from 60% earlier in the day. Rain forecast for the area all week, potentially helping douse the flames, but raising the risk of floods and mudslides that will swell the misery of 46,000 people under evacuation orders. Many refugees from the fire have taken up temporary residence with friends and relatives, while others have pitched tents or were camping in their vehicles. The death toll far surpasses the previous fatality record from a single California wildfire, 29 in the Griffith Park fire of 1933 in Los Angeles, and already ranks among the deadliest U.S. wildfire since the turn of the last century. 87 people perished in the Big Burn firestorm that swept the northern Rockies in August 1910. Minnesota's Cloquet fire in October 1918 killed 450 people. In Paradise, the flames moved so fast that some victims died in their cars in a chaotic evacuation as gridlock formed on the two exit routes out of town. The Butte County Sheriff's Office said the list of the missing is compiled using the information received from a special hotline, as well as emails and emergency 911 calls that came in during the first chaotic hours of the blaze. Authorities said some of those listed likely survived but were not yet identified by family or officials, either because they lack phone service or were unaware anyone was looking for them. In Paradise, home to nearly 27,000 people before the campfire struck, two forensic anthropologists from the University of Nevada, Reno were helping firefighters on Saturday sort through wreckage at a mobile home park for senior citizens. Firefighters peeled back metal sheets of a collapsed roof as the anthropologists picked up charred bone fragments, sorting them into paper bags. Roger Fielding, Chief Deputy Coroner with the Martin County Sheriff's Office, said each site was treated as a crime scene, with every step of recovery documented with photographs. Besides the toll on human life, property losses from the blaze make it the most destructive in California history, posing the additional challenge of providing long-term shelter for many thousands of displaced residents. At last count, the campfire had destroyed more than 13,600 homes and other structures. In Southern California, the Woolsey fire has claimed at least 3 lives. Authorities said that blaze was 88% contained on Sunday, with full containment expected by Thanksgiving Day. Are you an advocate for free market money? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Spendabit.co. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Pennington is reeling this hour from one of the biggest stories we've seen in decades.
That's right, Kathy. Mayor Sue Hallinan has stepped down following revelations of her involvement in a coupon forging scandal. After a week of fervent denials, Mayor Hallinan admitted that last Thursday she used 5 counterfeit coupons on a weekly shopping trip to the Kroger for a savings totaling $14.81.
Once you've made a fake coupon and you've had a taste of that power, it's hard to stop.
How much time does one woman need? Mayor Hallinan also apologized for her first response to the controversy when she blamed Jared the paperboy for stealing her coupons and replacing them with the fakes.
I don't know what to say. She could have ruined my career. I hope she goes to jail forever.
And in what many are saying is the ultimate indignity, Mayor Hallinan's photo has been put up on the Kroger's so-called banishment wall, in between such undesirables as the Fredericks boy and infamous gum thief, Mr. Ivins.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. As we are celebrating the first day of recreational cannabis sales legally in Massachusetts, anywhere actually east of the Mississippi. Massachusetts, the first state of a handful now east of the Mississippi that have a legal structure set up to actually open the doors and allow people over the age of 21, so 21 and over, to purchase cannabis.
So what's the tax rate?
20%.
It's pretty healthy.
It's not. I wouldn't describe taxes as healthy in any circumstance.
It's big.
It is high, so to speak. With you tonight, by the way, it's Ian,
Vincent,
and Mark.
And I know, Vincent, you had a story that was actually kind of related to this regarding, you touched on this idea in the last hour, which was that there may be a consequence here, an unforeseen consequence by those who have decided to use recreational cannabis, legal recreational cannabis, because those who are buying from the black market don't have this problem. But if you're buying through one of these legal stores, there's a man standing out front with a scanning device, and you hand that man your driver's license. He then scans the barcode on the back of the license, and that actually takes in all the data from your driver's license. So they got your name, they got your address, whatever.
So let me get this straight. You refused to give your information to the Canadian authorities when you attempted to cross the border.
I didn't refuse to give my information.
Willing to give them all your information when you walk into some pot shop.
You can't refuse to give your information to a border guard. I didn't refuse to give my information. You're talking about the time I attempted to cross into Canada and was unsuccessful?
Yes.
They were given my information by me. They looked me up and they rejected me. What we were trying to do with that border crossing was not show a passport. Was to prove that you didn't have to have a passport to cross into Canada and to cross back. And you don't. And we did prove that.
But you didn't make it.
I did. I was the only one of the group who did not make it across. Everybody else did make it. And the reason I didn't make it was because I have a criminal record of civil disobedience, basically, and they didn't want that.
Yeah.
So going on here, let's talk to you with your calls and thoughts. Speaking of ID, and we'll get into this idea of they're collecting all this info. Will they use it against gun owners is the question. Let's go first, though, to Dave. He's in New Hampshire, the state in New England that is behind the ball on cannabis decriminalization and legalization. It's unfortunate, but maybe the good side of that is going to be that New Hampshire will get it right. Maybe New Hampshire will do a better job of legalizing cannabis than other states. I'm hoping. I don't want to get too hopeful because I don't want to have my hopes dashed on the rocks, but there may be an opportunity for New Hampshire to not screw this up as hard as some of the other states have done. Like, for instance, by making it so, the ideal situation would be cannabis has no regulations whatsoever. That's probably not going to happen.
Same regulations as the sale of tomatoes.
But if it does have regulations, if it does have taxes, New Hampshire's tax ought to be the lowest. That it should be if you're going to have a tax, it should be part of statute that New Hampshire's tax should be the lowest tax on cannabis across all the United States.
That'd be great.
That would be a smart move if you're going to keep it sort of a regulated thing. Dave in New Hampshire, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're talking about ID earlier, and I wanted to update you on the New Hampshire Real ID situation.
Yeah, what is the situation with New Hampshire Real ID? Can you explain for our listeners what Real ID is?
Well, it goes back to 2005 when the Bush administration dumped this one of these things into it. It was the military appropriation bill, I guess, and they just tacked on this thing about everybody has to have this really complicated ID with biometrics and stuff like that.
They didn't just tack it on; they tacked it on at midnight, and
it was an unfunded mandate as well. So they told all these states, you got to jump through all these hoops, change your ID to be Real ID compliant based on all these standards we're going to hand down to you. Oh, and that's going to cost you money? Well, we're not going to pay you to do it. We're not going to give you any of our funds that we've stolen from your taxpayers to implement this system. So there were actually a handful of states, New Hampshire was one of them, that refused to participate, refused to implement, at the time at least, Real ID. Sadly, within the last couple of years, they have implemented Real ID standards in New Hampshire. However, if there's a little bit of good news here, it's that New Hampshire's standards are optional. So you can opt out of the Real ID style license. Anyway, go ahead, Dave.
So I guess what's happening is that they're claiming, the claim I understand, is that you have to get a Real ID compliant driver's license. It's not as bad as what was in the original bill, but you have to provide them a Social Security card at the DMV, and a birth certificate. The birth certificate has to have a raised seal, which I've never seen anything like that. I've got my birth certificate, my Social Security card, but it says they can't be tattered. And after over 50 years, well, yeah, I think it's got a corner missing, and I wonder if they will even accept that. Should I even try getting a Real ID compliant license? But if I did not get one, I'll be doing no more flying.
No, come on. They're bluffing, right? They're not going to stop people from flying.
Okay. I should. That's the claim in writing. You're right that they may back down. I mean, if enough people make an issue of this, then yes, they will back down. They have done so far.
Right, they've done it multiple times where they've set a deadline and said, this is the time by which you must have a Real ID license or else you're not going to be able to fly anymore. And they just keep pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back. And even if they don't push it back, we already know that people are able to fly without a license at all.
The other thing, I think the thing that they need to be more likely to actually enforce is an attempt at keeping people out of federal facilities if they don't have a certain type of ID. I don't know where that stands.
Okay. Was there more you wanted to share?
Well, there was, and I can't remember what it was.
Did you acquire one of these Real ID licenses, or are you like me and you don't have one?
No, I had to decide when I am up for renewal, when I renew my license, whether to just renew it normally by handing them the license and getting a new one, or by showing them a Social Security and a birth certificate, both of which I might have to actually get reissued in order to show it to them.
Boy, that's a pain. Yeah. Do you have a passport, if I can ask?
No, I don't think I would be allowed to have a passport. I'm a tax resistor, so they might just refuse me if it's not worth sending them the $100 to get turned down.
Yeah, I can understand. I can understand where you're coming from. I thought that that was a concern that I had as well, but I went for it and I got the passport. So
interesting.
But you're right. Well, they do claim that they do a treasury check. Sorry, they do claim that they do a check on you through the Treasury or Department or something like that to see if you owe taxes.
So if the IRS has been in contact with you and let you know that they demand money from you or whatever, then it's probably less of a good idea. Whereas
I see what you're saying.
If they haven't really contacted you, then no biggie.
Then go for it. Dave, thanks for the call.
This whole idea of a deprival strategy. It feels, dirty if you give any kind of money to the federal government. I feel like less of a person if I do that. I'm not saying I'd never do it at all, but I really do take it seriously and try to limit that at all costs.
Yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from on that. In my case, I wanted to go to Acapulco down in Acapulco, Mexico, and that was my motivation to get another passport. Because I'd had one in the past, but I let it expire. And I decided, you know what, this event sounds really cool. And as it turns out, it actually is a really cool event.
Not going to let these people and their stupid fines keep me from having a good life.
Thank you, Dave, for your call tonight. I appreciate it. Well, whether you're traveling or not, you can still have a good life in a lot of different ways.
Now, if you want to travel, and you're being kept from it by a $150 fine, then no, the government has succeeded in keeping you from having as good a life as you'd like.
Technically, it would be a fee, not a fine. But either way, it's an extraction from the government.
It's just money given to the government.
Yeah. So, toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE. Vincent, you've got a story out of the Huffington Post about a lawsuit. This apparently story broke today about a lawsuit by a medical cannabis patient suing the government over their prohibitions on being able to own a gun. And, on its face, it seems like, well, if you're a drug user, you shouldn't be able to own a gun. Or should you? We'll get into it coming up here in moments. Your calls and thoughts also welcome. Our number for you to dial in toll-free and take control of the airwaves is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com. With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
A local grandmother is beginning to realize that her family never even looked for a better nursing home. A man leaves a father-daughter dance with a different girl than he came with, and an earthquake late warning system goes off in Haiti. Watch as yet another precious fraction of your life passes mercilessly in front of your very eyes. This is the Onion Week in Review. Shortly after discovering he had locked himself outside of his suburban home Thursday, fully nude claims adjuster David Ronzo delivered a moving and thought-provoking treatise on the frailty of the human condition to a slowly gathering crowd of his neighbors. Ronzo, who initially panicked when he realized he was naked, soon turned and faced confused passersby and delivered a stirring oration on the grim facts of mortality, along with the indomitable nature of the human spirit. In other news, a man is arrested for stealing over $50,000 worth of beards from Hank Williams Jr. A pretty lady is playing hard to follow, and a dog named Murph lives up to his name. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Will be late next year or in
Oops. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got your Discord on-air call-in line rooms. Just head over to discord.lrn.fm. You will find them there. There are several of them right there at the top of our list of different chat rooms where you can get interactive with other Free Talk Live listeners. In fact, we're going to go to one of those call-in line rooms here in just a moment, but with you tonight, it's Ian,
Vincent,
and Mark.
And I want to make sure that you know about Bitcoin.com. Great place to go and learn the basics about cryptocurrency. Bitcoin started it all a decade ago, and it's still going strong. Yeah, it's down a little bit, but some would say that means it might be a good time to consider buying some. The price today touched a low of close to $4,000. That's, I think, the lowest point of the year.
Absolutely.
Last year. So, could it go lower? It could. But is this a good time to buy? It might be. At the very least, it's a good time to learn about it. Go to Bitcoin.com, get started on your path to really getting a grasp on cryptocurrency. Of course, Bitcoin started it all, so go with Bitcoin.com as we continue with you tonight. By the way, it's Ian here.
Vincent.
And Mark.
All right, so we're going to Gene the Christian Anarchist. He's on our Discord on-air call-in line room. Go ahead, Gene.
Hello, guys.
Hey.
I'm driving back from Minnesota, visiting relatives, and I thought I'd do something a little different tonight.
Sure.
I'm going to give everyone the benefit of my 50 years of driving experience. I'm going to give driving tips.
All right, let's hear it.
Well, there's a lot to cover. I'll just hit some of the high points. Number one, driving next to semi-trailers and trucks. You want to avoid that as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. That's because they've got a blind spot there, right?
No, not necessarily. Their blind spots are pretty well covered with their wide-angle mirrors. If they're turning a tight corner, yes, there's quite a blind spot. But if they're driving straight down the road, they can see you pretty well as long as you can see their mirrors. But what I'm getting at is trucks are especially heavy. They're very it's hard to stop them, hard to turn them, hard to get them going. You want to give them room. And you don't want to drive alongside them for any length of time because, sometimes those tires of theirs will,
blow
explode.
Out. Yeah, you see those. You see the broken, busted out tires frequently on the interstates.
Those are retreads, right?
Yeah. I guess some of them are not retreads. From what most of them are retreads, but I've heard that some of the new tires will do that as well. At any rate, you don't want to be next to one of those when
that happens.
Tires blows up.
Okay, good point.
That's one thing. And again, if you're going to pass one, pass it as fast as you can. You don't want to delay being next to it.
What is a retread?
It's a tire with tire stuck on the top, right?
They take an old tire, they turn it down in a lathe to cut off the old rubber, the old tread. They only cut the wear surface, the part that hits the road.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put it in a mold that's specifically designed for that size tire. And then they'll mold brand new rubber. They'll inject hot rubber that sticks to the old casing. They call that a casing. And then you have what looks like a brand new tire, but it's obviously not. And
why would somebody want one of these things? I mean, if these are known for blowing up on you as you're driving around, is it that much cheaper to get one of these tires? Is that why people are like, you know what, give me a retread? I feel like taking a risk.
It is cheaper, and they're serviceable. Back in the 60s and even into the 70s, retreads were popular on passenger cars. So we used to get retreads. And
Did they ever blow up on you?
No, we never. I think for an automobile, you don't typically see the tread leave the casing, but a truck tire is much larger.
And a heck of a lot more expensive.
Right. There's
It's
a
got
lot more pressure on it.
centrifugal force, yeah. So
you used to drive truck, right, Gene? I mean, what's one of these tires cost?
No, I've never driven truck.
Oh, no, excuse me.
Yeah. So other driving tips. Number one, be aware when the roads get wet or snowy, because traction changes a lot when roads are not dry. If you're going around a corner, you're going to want to go a bit slower.
Quite a bit slower.
Definitely. Icy downhill, you want to be at a crawl. You don't want to be very fast at all.
This is good advice, Gene. What was it that sparked you to want to call in with, basic road tips? Because we can't take too many of them here.
Well, yeah, I know. There was a deer came across the road. I almost ran into that. It wasn't that close, but it was the closest I've ever run. Come across a deer, and I just thought people might want a little bit of advice on.
Here's another one. Don't text and drive. How about that
There's
one?
a good one.
Yeah.
Well, let me go into that.
All right.
Because I actually do text and drive, and I eat hamburgers and drive.
Yeah.
It's what's called distracted driving. And
right.
It's kind of a myth that you can't do these things, and you tell people
you can.
Don't
it's just
do
if
them,
a moose runs out in front of you while you're doing it, you might have a lower reaction time, or longer.
But here's the trick. Here's the trick to doing anything while you're driving, because also as a pilot, we have to do things while we're flying our airplanes. We have to multitask.
Yeah.
So it's not that you can't do something else while you're driving. It's how much attention you put to that thing that you're doing. You have to divide your attention in a way that you're putting something like 9/10 of a second on your driving and 1/10 of a second on whatever that other thing is. You don't want to distract your driving for more than about 1/10 of a second. So it's a quick glance.
How about driving stoned? Do you have any experience with that? God. Some people say they drive better when they're stoned because they could concentrate easier.
Yeah, I've done that, and I had an accident. So don't do that.
So as a fireman, I've got to say that, and I'm not saying that everybody who texts and drives is terrible at it, but a lot of people are, and it's probably best not to do it than to do it. Half of the accidents I see, text.
Yeah, but they're not properly dividing their attention, because you can't just blame it on texting, because you can have the same problem with tuning your radio, eating a burger, smoking a cigarette. All of those things are distracted driving, and if you apply too much attention to that other thing and less, so apply the attention to the driving. Distracted portions should be only 1/10 of a second at a time, very briefly, and then right back onto the road. Like I say, I've been driving for 50 years. I've never had a major accident. I've had a couple of fender benders. And,
Gene, thanks for the call tonight. Appreciate hearing from you. There you go. Toll-free number. There's some tips for you. Vincent, did you write all those down?
Oh, no, I don't have a license.
No.
That's
what I'm saying.
It's good to think about, though.
Yeah, a little refresher never hurts. Let's go to Vernon in New Orleans. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Vernon.
Hey, I don't understand why every single time around this time of year, we need to have reminders of why we shouldn't, food. I've heard so many food safety tips, driving tips, and fire hazard tips lately. Don't use your grill in the house. Don't don't do this or that. Is it just because it's a slow news time?
Do people really use their grills in their house?
No.
I guess
they
must,
do.
Right?
It's crazy.
Yeah. Don't put your generator in your house either. That's also a really bad plan.
Yeah. Don't text and drive. Don't leave the turkey out on the table. Put it in the fridge.
Well, the dog might eat it if you leave it out on the table too long.
No, it's food. It's food out, like food poisoning or something. It's crazy. Are people that stupid to where they really don't know these common things?
Maybe they are. Hang on, Vernon, if you got more. It's Free Talk Live.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Block-It Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockItPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockItPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockItPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
What if there was a social media network only for the conservative?
What if there was a social media network not only for the conservative right general public, but also a platform for conservative politicians and advertisers?
And what if the social media network was the only free speech network in existence?
There is. It's RightSocial.net.
RightSocial.net, a response to President Donald Trump's direct presidential order.
RightSocial.net, where you have the right to freely speak your mind.
RightSocial.net, the right place to be.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar! That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com. Advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial in toll-free tonight if you want to join us on the air. The very first day of legal cannabis recreational sales in the eastern seaboard, east of the Mississippi, was in Massachusetts at 2 different locations. We covered that in some level of detail at the very beginning of the show. Of course, you're always welcome to call in and share your thoughts with us tonight. It's Ian,
Vincent,
and Mark.
And a lot of libertarians got to know Tom Woods during the Ron Paul campaigns of 2008 and 2012. Tom is a New York Times best-selling author and has written over a dozen books, including The Politically Incorrect Guide to American History. Since September of 2013, Tom's been putting out his own show, The Tom Woods Show, every single weekday, meaning he's racked up over 1,200 episodes so far. Guests like Ron Paul, Judge Andrew Napolitano, David Stockman, and hundreds more. Topics including the Federal Reserve, net neutrality, the FDA, Austrian economics, and other subjects of interest to libertarians. You can find The Tom Woods Show online over at tomwoods.com or just search for Tom Woods Show in your favorite podcatchers. We continue here. Vernon on the line in New Orleans. Vernon, you say you're fed up with all these ridiculous warnings that people are being given. And
I get enough of it from Free Talk Live. You have Sarah calling in with pedestrian crossing tips and all of that stuff, and then you have Gene calling in with driving tips, and then I turn the news on today, and the fire chief's on there talking about, fireplace safety and cooking safety, and then you turn on the radio, and then you hear the FDA chief on there talking about food safety. I mean, it's just it's like this time of the year, I guess people are just more prone to accidents. I have no idea, but it's the same things every single year, and it just gets old after a while. I don't understand why we need these constant reminders of things that I think are self-explanatory and things I already know that I learned as a child, basically. I don't know. And then I have one other topic I wanted to ask you about.
Well, I could say this as a firefighter. The reason we go to people's houses and they're on fire is because the same crap over and over again.
Okay, so obviously, but is it caused by humans, or is it really like is it just an accident?
No,
like, okay, even if I had heard this tips on the radio, I would have known better or something. You know what I mean?
It's fire gremlins.
Okay.
No, it's humans making the same mistakes that they do. So you'll take your ashes out, and for whatever reason, they throw them in a pile of leaves in the middle of fall. What were you thinking was going to happen here? But this is where I always throw my leaves. I mean, throw my ashes. I understand, but you haven't raked up your leaves around your ash pile. And now your house is on fire.
Okay. And I guess this goes to the fact that people are scammed by the internet with those African scams and all of that stuff. So I guess it's just the stupidity of people in general, and maybe I'm not as stupid.
Well, people are also scammed by those hacks, those life hacks that many of them actually make life more difficult. But they make it look like they make something easier. Like the best one that comes to mind is the one where it's like a ketchup bottle, and they put pancake batter in the ketchup bottle, and it's like, it makes perfect pancakes because you can just squeeze out the perfect amount out of the ketchup bottle. But then you have to think, well, like, how long did you actually have to prepare, and how difficult was it to wash out the ketchup bottle, number one, then actually get the pancake batter into the ketchup bottle first and foremost? What are you going to use for that? A funnel?
Yes.
Yeah. So all the time that it takes to get set up for this, it's not a time saver. You gotta put more time into it, because you can't keep that in there that long.
It's probably convenient while you're doing it.
Afterwards,
before y'all kick me off, are y'all still doing the FCC free Twitch thing? And if y'all have already talked about it earlier tonight, forgive me. But
no, it's fine. No, thanks for the extra plug. I'm glad you gave us an excuse to mention it again. Yeah, tonight, no FCC censors during a Twitch only after show, our very first ever Twitch only after show. We're all sticking around after the show at 10 o'clock tonight Eastern time on twitch.lrn.fm. We'll be doing.
We can call in.
Yeah, just like normal.
Like, do you have the same rules though? If I've already called in, I can't call in again.
No. We'll if you've called in already tonight, you can call in during the Twitch show. That we'll waive that rule.
And you'll have a special number you'll give out.
Yeah, we'll have a 603 area code number for people on the phones, but I would still recommend getting on our Discord chat and jumping into the Discord on-air call-in line rooms, because you're going to sound much better that way. Thank you, Vernon, for the call tonight. Check that out at Discord, or that's discord.lrn.fm. But if you want to watch us on Twitch tonight, the Twitch-only version of the show, after show, and with no FCC censors. That's not to say there won't be any censors, but there's no FCC censors. There's still certain things you can't say on Twitch that we can't tolerate.
What?
There's racist terminology that is not allowed on Twitch.
Well, I'm not going to tolerate that anyway.
No, we wouldn't have tolerated that anyway. But the F word, the S word, all the regular curse words, you can go to town and have fun with that, because Twitch doesn't care about that. So anyway, that's tonight at twitch.lrn.fm. Go and follow us there, and stick around after 10 p.m. Eastern. All right. So, Vincent, you wanted to talk about the Huffington Post. Did you want me to share this story, or did you want to?
Oh no, you could go ahead. I mean, I just started to laugh, the irony of a Huffington Post, because you said the government, but really in the Huffington Post here it says the man is suing the Trump administration. So it took over hatred for Trump to have the Huffington Post be pro-gun for once.
It's an interesting point, but of course, if it was. I'm only saying it's the government because Trump happens to be in charge of it at the time this suit happens to be being filed. It's not to say that Obama wouldn't have presided over the exact same terrible policy. Medical marijuana prescriber and patient is challenging Donald Trump's administration over a federal statute barring cannabis users from purchasing or owning firearms, even when they take the drug legally pursuant to state law. In April, Philadelphia-based doctor Matthew Roman went to a gun store locally with plans to buy a revolver for self-defense. Pennsylvania is one of more than 30 states and has legalized marijuana for medicinal purposes, and Roman is licensed to even prescribe cannabis to treat symptoms of Roman is licensed to prescribe cannabis to qualifying patients in his state. Okay, yeah, he's a doctor. He also has a card that allows him to use the plant to treat symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. So he is both a doctor and a patient when it comes to medical cannabis.
All right.
Roman has no other record of violence, criminal activity, or a mental disorder, according to the suit. When he went to purchase the handgun, a clerk informed him his status as a medical marijuana patient means he cannot legally obtain a firearm. Under the 1968 Gun Control Act,
guns are weed, but not both.
Any unlawful user of a controlled substance is also prohibited from purchasing or owning a gun. Federally licensed gun dealers must ask prospective customers about their drug use habits before approving a purchase. And because marijuana remains a Schedule I substance under federal law, amazingly, which, by the way, means that it's in the same category federally as heroin.
Yep.
Schedule
Higher
1,
than cocaine.
That's correct, which I believe is Schedule 2, if I recall correctly.
Well, it can be used as medicine.
Correct. Schedule I substance here does point out the government maintains there's no way to use cannabis lawfully. Not only lawfully, but medically. So they're a little wrong on their statement there. The government schedules drugs at Schedule I if they believe there's no accepted medical use for that drug, which is false with both cannabis and heroin, by the way. I mean, I know heroin's got a bad rap, and a bunch of people...
Heroin was legal at one point in the 20th century, so...
Sure was.
It could be used medically.
And has been.
Well, and even before they legalized the use of opioids in the late 90s, early 2000s, opioids were reserved for the worst, terminal cancer patients, because
it's
people
pain
near
medication.
death. So yeah, so even when it was its most restricted in the country, it was still used as medicine.
Correct. But yet it's Schedule I. In 2016, a federal appeals court ruled this prohibition did not violate the Second Amendment rights of a Nevada medical marijuana patient who was turned down by a gun store after trying to buy a firearm in 2011. Dr. Roman's suit, filed last week, alleges that federal law violates his Second Amendment right to gun ownership and his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination because federal firearm transaction forms require medical marijuana patients to report that they use the drug unlawfully, even when it's sanctioned under state law.
Sounds fair.
The complaint specifically names Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker and the directors of the FBI and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Spokesbureaucrat for the U.S. Attorney's Office declined to comment on the case. We'll tell you a little bit more about it coming up here in moments. Case filed against the federal government by a medical marijuana patient/doctor about gun rights. This is Free Talk Live. You can join us. Bring up what you want.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the purest for you and your family. For over 14 years, thousands have depended on Berkey Clean Water. The Berkey guy has you covered at home, work, and on the go. With water filtration systems of every size for every budget. Now GCN listeners receive 10% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN at goberkey.com or call 877-886-3653. goberkey.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Yeah, it's Free Talk Live. Dial in, toll free, take control of the airwaves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Oh, by the way, big thanks to Dave Burns. He's a Free Talk Live Platinum Amplifier, meaning that he gives $25 per month to Free Talk Live to support what we do, to support our mission of spreading the ideas of liberty and peace and cryptocurrency as far and as wide as possible, get on more radio stations, bring these ideas out there to people who weren't expecting to find them, and then also do some internet outreach as well to bring new people on board with the ideas of freedom. If that's valuable, if it's worth $5 a month, he's doing $25. We ask $5. So if you want to do $5 a month or more, it's up to you. You go to amp.freetalklive.com. AMP stands for advertise, market, and promote. It's amp.freetalklive.com. You'll get some cool perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines. There's the AMP-only Facebook group. There's the AMP-only podcast, and you get special access to certain chat rooms
that normally are off limits on our Discord chat, and more. So get all the details over at amp.freetalklive.com. I actually had an amplifier send me a message today on Discord asking for his amp status to be granted, and that's easy to do. All you got to do is message me on Discord and tell me what your amp email address is. That way I know you're not some imposter trying to pretend to be, one of the amplifiers.
And then what do you get?
You get the amp user class. So you get it turns your name gold, so you look different. You become in the AMP user group, so as you're scrolling down the list of users, you'll be in that group.
Differentiates you from the other traders.
Correct. And you get access to special channels, a couple of them that other people don't have. So check it out over at ampamp.freetalklive.com. Use PayPal, use credit card, use Bitcoin, BTC. It's amp.freetalklive.com. More about this lawsuit against the current administration, against the government, for prohibiting people who are medical cannabis patients from owning firearms. And I hope this guy's successful. I hope that he can overturn that prohibition to allow people to have both guns and pot. But let's go to Bad Slave first in New Hampshire. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Bad Slave.
Hi.
Hey, you're on the air.
Thanks for taking my call. I wanted to just bring up the idea that they've been keeping me from doing all kinds of stuff online and whatever.
Who's they?
When I'm people that give health services. I mean,
health services are keeping you from doing things online. What things are they keeping you from doing? I'm not familiar with this.
Mean, they make me, jump through humongous hoops it's called HIPAA. You've heard of HIPAA?
HIPAA, yeah, that's the health
law?
Privacy law thing.
Right. So health privacy should interfere with anybody knowing about you having to need to use cannabis or any other products for we have competing laws is what I'm saying, and that it just borders on ridiculousness.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because
because I wasn't understanding there for a moment. What you're saying is on one hand, you've got a law that says, oh, if you're a medical cannabis user, you need to tell us when you're applying for a gun license. On the other hand, there's this HIPAA thing that says, if you're using something medically, you have a right to privacy and people don't need to know about it. You're saying there's a contradiction.
That's right. And not only that, there are so many more potent drugs out there that are being dispensed willy-nilly, through doctors, of course.
Right, they don't ask you about that,
pharmacies.
Right? If you're filling out a gun application, they don't ask you if you're on any other mind-altering substances, so long as it's on a prescription.
Yeah.
Right. Just weed.
Like SSRI drugs that makes you, that says you could become violent or suicidal.
Suicidal, right?
Of course, yes. So a young person I know on antidepressant drugs, and he attempted suicide. I mean, fortunately, he was unsuccessful. But I just like this is just more of the same kind of baloney that authorities, the government, in concert with the lawmakers and bar attorneys and cops.
Yeah, they make a bunch of money off of it. The attorneys make a bunch of money.
Everything that the government does is nothing but an obstruction. I call them the destructo bots, those people, because that's all that they can do. They can't build anything. They can only destroy.
You're right about that.
This is part of what's going on. They're destroying somebody's possibility for getting, being armed and wanting to defend yourself, just like you, Mark, as well.
Right.
You want to defend yourself, and they're keeping you, even though you're a perfectly respectable individual.
Because you're a felon, because Mark's a felon.
Right.
Right.
And by the way, you can
And
also
that's
have more alcohol in your house legally, which is a far greater of dangerous drug than marijuana.
Yeah.
You can drink enough alcohol to where you can't even see straight. And
you could drink enough to die.
You could drink enough to die. Certainly, if you put your hands on a gun when you're that drunk, it could be a very, very bad consequence.
It often is.
Yeah, as a result of that. But they don't ask you on the gun application form if you have a habit of getting too drunk. Bad Slave, thanks for the call. The toll-free number here tonight is 855-450-FREE. Again, the suggestion here that's sort of unspoken is that marijuana is so dangerous. It's one of the most dangerous drugs in the world, and that's why you can't possibly have a gun at the same time in the same house with this plant. I mean, that's the unspoken.
It makes you unpredictable.
Yeah.
Well,
ridiculous.
A lot of these laws are written by people who have never smoked weed.
Yeah.
And don't really understand it. I'm not saying that
they need to blaze up.
It's also to disarm as many people as they can, as many of the slaves as they can.
Yeah, it's probably a bit of that too. But I think there's just a lot of fear because we've done a good job of comparing weed to alcohol, and alcohol is a dangerous drug. But when I compare weed to alcohol, I really should let everyone know that honestly, it's alcohol that's more dangerous.
Oh yeah,
not weed.
I mean, do we even have to tell people that anymore? Isn't it just obvious?
A lot of people haven't smoked marijuana. They don't know anything about it, Ian.
They need to pay attention to their friends and family and coworkers who are there's probably a handful of marijuana users that are very, very close to them.
And I'm sure more people are addicted to alcohol than they are marijuana, so it's a much more sensitive topic for more people.
Yeah, absolutely. Alcoholism is a huge problem, not only in the United States, but elsewhere in the world. So the spokesperson bureaucrat for the U.S. Attorney's Office has declined to comment on the case by this Dr. Roman, who's filing suit on behalf of, cannabis and gun owners everywhere. Attorneys for Roman say the restriction on gun ownership for medical marijuana patients is in part the results of decades of cannabis propaganda, which they argue has led to inaccurate claims about the herb being associated with violent behavior. When the hell did anybody ever make that claim about cannabis?
The Reefer Madness movies.
I was about to say that.
Was there a violent character in that movie?
Oh, the whole movie is about how they're ruining their lives, going to debauchery, going to crime, hurting. I think some guy murders someone when they're on weed.
Yeah, you're right. There is a killing in that film. You're right about that.
Just makes you go crazy.
Well,
Reefer Madness is a silly, silly movie.
It is, and people thought it was real. They thought that it was a realistic example of what cannabis did to you.
Or it could have been a prediction, right? It was a foresightful movie because it predicted spice and synthetic cannabis.
How did it predict that?
The bath salts and what they've.
Well, no, it's not bath salts. It was spice that the guy ate the guy's face off. A homeless man who ate a guy's face off.
But how did the Reefer Madness movie predict that?
Because they say these people are consuming cannabis and then they go out and go crazy and do all sorts of violent things. It's usually associated today with synthetic cannabis.
Oh, you're saying that actually happened, but it wasn't regarding cannabis. It was regarding.
It's sort of like an ironic prediction. A stopped clock is right twice a day.
I see what you're saying. Attorneys say the restriction is part of the cannabis propaganda. The federal government is, quote, advancing an interpretation of the law which automatically assumes that medical marijuana patients, by operation of the method of treatment for their illnesses, are prone to engage in gun violence in the same manner as those adjudicated mentally ill or those who have been convicted of a felony. Not that just being convicted of a felony makes you prone to using a gun in a violent way.
If we're going to touch on this felons and guns things, it's worth talking about. I am a felon. I was sentenced in 1989 for second-degree murder. I was released later by a Florida Supreme Court, but I was not exonerated. Supreme Court ruling, but I was not exonerated. Does anyone think, really, that I couldn't get a gun in the next 24 hours if I wanted to? Felons that have been free a long time and haven't committed a crime have done so because they don't want to go back to jail, or that they're, cured, or whatever the heck the issue is. Not because you've kept guns from them.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hour number 3 is on the way. Share your thoughts with us. It is Free Talk Live. Guns and drugs.
Hearing a lot about CBD these days? Yes, but which CBD products can you trust? Which website can provide proper education about CBD along with high-quality products? The answer? CBDonly.com. CBD, or cannabidiol, is one of hundreds of compounds found in the cannabis plant and one that contains a variety of medicinal benefits. Many doctors are starting to recommend CBD to their patients as an alternative or supplement to some pharmaceutical medications. CBD is becoming widely known to relieve pain, inflammation, and anxiety. Unlike THC that is found in the plant, CBD does not have psychoactive effects. In other words, it does not give the effect of being high. All CBDonly.com products are lab tested to ensure the highest quality standards. Shop CBDonly.com for CBD oils, edibles, vapes, skincare, even CBD for your pets. That's CBDonly.com. And to receive 15% off your order on CBDonly.com, use discount code CBDNOW. Remember, shop for CBD products you can trust. Shop CBDonly.com, your CBD superstore.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene on the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, November 19th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.39 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,221 per ounce. Zen is trading at $10, and the average price of Bitcoin is $5,191. Antiwar.com reports continuing weeks of near-daily civilian death tolls from the U.S. air war in eastern Syria. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights has reported that Saturday's U.S. attacks killed 40 more people, overwhelmingly civilians. The victims were described as mostly women and children. Saturday's attacks were against the village of Abu al-Hassan along the Iraqi border. This is adjacent to towns held by the Islamic State that the U.S. has been mostly attacking in recent weeks and which Kurdish ground troops are attempting to invade. The Syrian Observatory said it was unclear if any men killed in the attacks were actually militants, but that 17 children and 12 women were confirmed among the slain. In general, these attacks have targeted residential areas, not militants. The U.S., as is increasingly typical of these incidents, has not offered any commentary on the matter at all, though earlier in the war they would try to explain such killings, or at least deny involvement. In the past weeks, they seem simply to be refusing all comment. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They are working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. Reuters reports authorities on Sunday sifted through the charred wreckage of California's deadliest ever wildfire, searching for any sign of the 993 people now listed as missing after the Camp Fire tore through the mountain town of Paradise. The number of believed missing fell 283 late on Sunday, down from 1,276 people, according to the Butte County Sheriff's Office, but gave no other details. The remains of 77 people have been recovered, according to officials. The blaze, ignited on November 8th, was 65% contained, up from 60% earlier in the day. Rain forecast for the area all week, potentially helping douse the flames, but raising the risk of floods and mudslides that will swell the misery of 46,000 people under evacuation orders. Many refugees from the fire have taken up temporary residence with friends and relatives, while others have pitched tents or were camping in their vehicles. The death toll far surpasses the previous fatality record from a single California wildfire, 29 in the Griffith Park fire of 1933 in Los Angeles, and already ranks among the deadliest U.S. wildfire since the turn of the last century. 87 people perished in the Big Burn firestorm that swept the northern Rockies in August 1910. Minnesota's Cloquet fire in October 1918 killed 450 people. In Paradise, the flames moved so fast that some victims died in their cars in a chaotic evacuation as gridlock formed on the 2 exit routes out of town. The Butte County Sheriff's Office said the list of the missing is compiled using the information received from a special hotline, as well as emails and emergency 911 calls that came in during the first chaotic hours of the blaze. Authorities said some of those listed likely survived but were not yet identified by family or officials, either because they lack phone service or were unaware anyone was looking for them. In Paradise, home to nearly 27,000 people before the campfire struck, 2 forensic anthropologists from the University of Nevada, Reno were helping firefighters on Saturday sort through wreckage at a mobile home park for senior citizens. Firefighters peeled back metal sheets of a collapsed roof as the anthropologists picked up charred bone fragments, sorting them into paper bags. Roger Fielding, chief deputy coroner with the Martin County Sheriff's Office, said each site was treated as a crime scene with every step of recovery documented with photographs. Besides the toll on human life, property losses from the blaze make it the most destructive in California history, posing the additional challenge of providing long-term shelter for many thousands of displaced residents. At last count, the campfire had destroyed more than 13,600 homes and other structures. In Southern California, the Woolsey fire has claimed at least 3 lives. Authorities said that blaze was 88% contained on Sunday, with full containment expected by Thanksgiving Day. Are you an advocate for free market money? Then you need Spend-A-Bit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Spendabit.co. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Sony released this week the Nasal HD 340s, a brand new pair of high-quality nose buds designed to let users blast different scents into their nostrils throughout the day. The Onion let consumers across the nation sound off about their excitement for the new product.
I've always got them in my nose. At work, at the gym, on the bus, wherever. These days, I can't stop smelling tennis ball.
Retailing for $49.99, the nose buds accompany the launch of Sony's new online odor store, which sells over 22,000 different smells for download and immediate inhalation. Still, not everyone is quite as enthusiastic about the new product.
These things suck. I mean, a lot of times it only works out of the right nostril. The other day I tried smelling picnic table. It smelled more like hardwood floor. And also, to be honest, I have a really hard time breathing with these things on.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial in toll free, bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE. We're 1 hour away from our very first ever Twitch-only live stream. That will be after 10 o'clock Eastern Time tonight. So we're still doing our radio show right now, which means those pesky FCC censors are still governing our conversations to some extent. With you here tonight, it's Ian,
Vincent,
and Mark.
On this, the very first day of legal recreational cannabis sales in Massachusetts, the first state east of the Mississippi in the United States to legalize for recreational purposes, or actually get the doors open on places that you can go and buy in real life. We talked about that in detail in the first hour. You're welcome to comment on that. We're talking about drugs and guns right now, specifically cannabis. Medical patients being prohibited by the federal government from owning or possessing firearms or purchasing. And an attorney for Dr. Matthew Roman, who is a doctor who can both prescribe medical cannabis and he's also a user of medical cannabis. He's got post-traumatic stress disorder, and it helps him with that. And but apparently he's not allowed to defend himself now that he's medicating himself. And there's been a suit that he has filed against the federal government regarding this issue. The complaint points out that this is all based on cannabis propaganda.
I think that the idea, I think what people think is that, and this may not be entirely inaccurate, is that many of the people who are going to go get cannabis cards or whatever are going to be stoned a lot of the time. And you obviously wouldn't want to give a gun to somebody who's drunk.
Nope,
and
you wouldn't.
I guess what they're saying is that weed's so great that you're going to want to do it all the time or whatever.
Yeah, but it also suggests that being high or stoned or whatever you want to call it, having your body chemistry altered by THC, which is one of the active chemicals in cannabis.
The psychoactive one.
It is somewhat psychoactive. That is true. It is a mild psychedelic. However, it is mild, and in most cases, it's very, very mild. A lot of the medical patients don't even use enough cannabis to get any real psychoactive effects. I've seen video of medical patients doing like one toke off of a pipe and then having whatever the pain issue it is that they were dealing with, or whatever the medical issue, having whatever the symptom was go away. So
sometimes it's so startling that you hardly believe what you're seeing. But,
you mean the effectiveness of it?
Right.
Yeah.
What my favorite is the ones where they're having like trimmers. Take one puff.
And it just evens it out.
I mean, they're not faking it with the trimmers, people.
Right. Yeah, they're not faking this stuff.
Some people are faking it. I mean, like the California law really sort of made it so that we all believe that people on medical marijuana are faking it. Wouldn't you agree that basically, I don't know what the number of people who had medical marijuana licenses in California were, but hey, this part of me hurts. Oh, okay. Well, everybody has some part that hurts at some point.
That's true.
You get it for anxiety, depression, insomnia, which, just because of his modern lifestyle, almost everyone could say they have.
But I have no reason to disbelieve somebody who's saying that it helps them.
I don't
even
either.
Though you can be cynical about it.
Well, those people do have a reason in California, did have a reason to fake it.
To get their hands on it legally.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, now you can just get your hands on it legally because it's recreationally illegal in California. But my point here is the prohibitionists want you to believe about cannabis is as soon as you take a toke off of a joint, that all of a sudden you're seeing the walls melt and, spiral psychedelic patterns are taking over your vision. There's, dancing bears flying through the sky.
Pink elephants on parade.
All this stuff. They want you to believe that there's like some sort of crazy thing that's happening to you. Your mind has become addled. You are no longer you.
It permanently changes your brain chemistry. People under 25, their brains are messed up forever if they even take one hit.
That's what the government wants you to believe.
The boys get boobs. Don't forget that one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
it'll grow hair on your palms or something like that.
I'm afraid not.
That's masturbating.
Oh, okay.
Well, they say it is said to decrease testosterone, and some things it does. Like it makes people non-confrontational and sedated, which one would imagine the government would love that, having an entire population sedated.
Well, they would like you to be sedated, but they'd also like you to be disarmed, right?
Well, and also they like whatever lobby, the lumber lobby or whatever is in plastics, right? Because you can like certain types of hemp are illegal, and hemp, like the hemp plastic is much better for the environment. It takes less to grow, and yet it's illegal, right? And plastic, which is made out of petroleum, it takes a lot longer to decompose. That's fine. That's legal, even though they want us to pay carbon taxes for the environment. So it's just money is the root of all evil. Once again,
well, money's a tool, so that's kind of a cliche. That's not really.
No, it's not a cliche. The Bible says it.
Well, it's still not true.
I think it says the love of money is the root of all.
The love of money. Okay, pardon me. Yes, the love of money.
Okay, gotcha. Well, either way, money is a tool. It can be used for good and it can be used for evil. It just depends. So this is where it comes from: is this idea that marijuana is so dangerous, it makes you crazy, and the idea that you're like going to see things somewhere that's not actually there, and you're going to start blasting away with your pistol or something like that. I'm sorry, there's just no real evidence for this.
Not happening.
It just doesn't happen. But going on, the complaint notes that the federal law treats marijuana differently than it does other approved treatments for PTSD, such as Ambien, as well as legal recreational drugs like alcohol, which are both known to carry more substantial risks than cannabis. Attorney John Weston told Huffington Post, quote, "You've alcoholics who are not prohibited from owning firearms. Ambien has side effects that are arguably much worse than those of medical marijuana, and yet a person who's being prescribed Ambien for the same condition, PTSD, has the absolute constitutional right to own a firearm for self-defense in his home."
It's absolutely true.
Yeah, it's a clear bias, and I hope that they actually have some success with this case. There's a little bit more here. The question, said the attorney, is why the federal government is picking on medical marijuana when it's much less harmful than any of the other medicines that you can use to treat this condition.
Engadget reports that NASA is launching a safety review of SpaceX because Elon Musk smoked pot. I mean, this is...
Seriously?
And he got, the SEC came after him and all kinds of things because he smoked a little bit of pot one time
on Joe Rogan.
He's probably smoked it more often than that, but
how often?
Who knows?
He seems like a pretty busy guy. He's probably not walking around the Tesla factory with a freaking doob hanging out of his mouth.
Busy spending all those billions of government taxpayer dollars.
Well, it's hard to feel sorry for somebody like that, right? Somebody who bellies up at the tax trough, then ends up getting spanked by the very same government bureaucrats or other government bureaucrats.
Certainly, but I don't like people to be gone after for the wrong reasons.
Right.
Any more than I like, bad people being... Yeah, I don't want bad people caught for the wrong reasons. I don't want good people caught for the wrong reasons. If we're going to do things, do it for the right reasons, people.
The strict nature of Pennsylvania's medical marijuana law, which carefully controls the drug from seed to consumer, should be enough to tamp down the government's concerns about the plant's potential nexus to crime, said the attorney. In light of that, he expressed confidence that Roman's suit would have a better chance than the previous 2016 ruling issued by the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in San Francisco. Victory could take a number of different forms, said the attorney, ranging from a narrow ruling affecting only Roman to one that could more broadly upend federal firearms restrictions on medical marijuana patients. Let's hope for the latter. For cannabis advocates, a change to rules about medical cannabis and gun ownership is long overdue. Paul Armentano, deputy director of the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, or NORML, said in a statement to Huffington Post, quote, "There's no credible justification for a marijuana exception to the U.S. Constitution. Responsible adults who use cannabis in a manner that's compliant with the laws of their states ought to receive the same legal rights and protections as do other citizens." He went on to urge Congress to pass legislation to federally decriminalize marijuana, quote, "in a way that comports with both public and scientific opinion, as well as its rapidly changing legal status under state laws."
Certainly is rapidly changing.
And from my understanding, the reason why cannabis and these other drugs didn't need an amendment like alcohol did for prohibition is because it's done through executive fiat. Because like the UN has this anti-drug treaty, it had a bunch of countries all sign on to.
I'm not sure the UN even existed when marijuana was made illegal.
Well, no, but
1968.
Yeah, so it was it was definitely a UN treaty.
Wait, marijuana's only been illegal since 1968?
No, that's when the war really began on it. It was in the the mid 30s or early 30s when it was.
I don't think the UN existed in the 30s.
Really?
No, but I'm talking about these new ones, right? The ones in '68, as Ian said. I forget if it was Nixon or someone signed on.
Yeah,
I think it was Nixon who signed on.
There's much more to it than just not wanting people to be stoned.
This 1968 was this Gun Control Act, which outlawed being a user of a controlled substance and also a firearms owner. So that was right along with the whole war on drugs kickoff. More coming up. Free Talk Live.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories. While I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink, like we have. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening at home anytime, anywhere, from your smartphone. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. Get your Blink camera system starting at less than $100 by visiting blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You are invited here to join us. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. You can also get interactive on our Discord server over at discord.lrn.fm. That's where you'll find a bunch of Free Talk Live listeners. Actually, Hannah Hoffman hanging out in there tonight.
She's written so many of the jingles that you've heard throughout the years.
Over many years,
yeah,
here on
Free Talk Live. And just an incredible talent. I know she's doing live gigs in New York these days.
Doing musical live gigs?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And she's in there just hanging out. You never know who's going to pop into the Free Talk Live Discord server, so drop on over at discord.lrn.fm. There are different channels in which you can interact with other Free Talk Live listeners, some of the co-hosts, and then there, of course, are the on-air call-in line channels, which allow you to get on the air with us when we're live, which is, of course, 7 nights per week. With you in our studio tonight in Keene, New Hampshire, it's Ian.
Vincent.
And Mark.
Let's go to the phones to the fun. We got Stephen in New Hampshire. You're on Free Talk Live, listening at freetalklive.com. Hey, Stephen.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I just had some rough ideas about football. It's kind of been rattling around in my head for a few years.
All right.
And I just thought I'd express that. Just a general
American football?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of it. But I have sort of an abstract kind of interest in it as just an expression of kind of human nature, basically, because it's a big phenomenon in the U.S. It's
football as an expression of human nature? You mean that humans square off into groups and fight one another?
They like balls too. No, they do.
And they worship it on Sundays. You know, it's almost replaced religion in a way. But I've drawn on it from a few different sources. I worked for a company called Visus in Seattle, and they've been making a special kind of football helmet to reduce the chance of concussion, CTE, for a while now. And I watched an episode of Adam Ruins Everything. They have a little nice, very informative episode on concussions in football and how it changed, how it significantly changed in Roosevelt's time, and he changed the rules on it because a lot of guys were getting trampled, and he changed rules so you could pass, you can make forward passes, and that opened up the field.
Hold on, Roosevelt, the president of
Teddy, or it must be Teddy, right?
Teddy Roosevelt, yeah.
He changed the rules for American football?
That's my understanding, yeah.
Huh. Just because he was the president of the United States, he wasn't like the boss of the NFL?
Things were different for politicians back then, too. But, yeah, I mean, Roosevelt just had a lot of sway. He was one of the richer families in the biggest city in the country. And, I mean, he was very close to royalty in many ways.
That's amazing.
Or aristocracy.
Yeah, that's a better terminology. Yeah, sure.
You might, I mean, I don't know. I had a connection I was going to make there, but no, it's, but yeah, it's, sorry, the, you know, there's a lot of talk about CTE now. There's a lot of players that are being diagnosed with it. A lot of players are getting out of the game. A lot of old-time coaches are you know, saying that they wish they never got into the game, and a lot of kids are not going into football to begin with. So we're going to see a big change in it. Again, I'm mainly just interested in just observing people's reaction to this, because people can be obsessive and extremely irrational about the game. So, you know, it's well, I think it'll change a lot. I think the game will open up more. And
hold on, just to be clear, you're saying
a change that we're going to talk about here?
The change you're talking about is the fact that there's a helmet that people can wear now that'll help?
Right. So there's multiple ways and reasons for the change. The main reason right now is CTE. People know
CTE stands for what?
I apologize. I forget what it stands for, but it's a condition in which it's a scarring of the brain that results from essentially any impact. They're finding out now. They found out. They've been known for a couple of years now that essentially every single impact that you have on your head, whether it's a small bump against the wall or a full impact from any kind of tackling, results in small tearing in the brain tissue.
I believe it. Okay, sounds plausible.
Scarring.
You think Americans will ever go for soccer? I mean, when those guys, there can't possibly be traumatic head injuries in soccer. Anytime any of them get close to each other, they all fall on the ground and grab their knee.
Well, I mean, I
don't get it.
Don't quote me on
this.
Because
you don't watch soccer.
No, but what I've heard from neuroscientists is that literally every single impact. I mean, even small ones, you know, against another player's head or against a soccer ball.
But okay, so are you saying that this new helmet is going to somehow change the game and make people take greater risks? I'm not clear what you're saying is going to happen here.
Yes. So that's some of the data that we were seeing at Vices. I don't want to get into too many details of it, but some of the data we were seeing is that some players were hitting harder because part of it was because of the sound. These helmets, the helmets they're making, they're softer helmets. They don't make a cracking noise when they hit other helmets. They make a thump, and that sound is kind of a feedback from towards a player to tell them how hard they're hitting. So if the sound isn't as loud, they tend to hit harder, and that was one of the.
Why is that a good thing? I mean, if the idea is this helmet, are you saying this helmet's like some sort of perfect magical thing that manages to make it so you can get hit even harder and that it won't do the damage you're talking about?
No. They're still good. You know, this is not a fix-all kind of solution. But I'm just exploring ways that the game could change.
Well, I mean, it's definitely true that if a person thinks they're safer via some circumstance, they're going to take greater risks. So we've seen that with the was it Denmark where they got rid of there was like a cliff where they got rid of all the signage.
There was a town
like that
basically they did an experiment on by removing speed limit signs and basically everything else, and found that people actually got safer as far as drivers went.
Right, meaning that if there aren't guardrails up on the side of a cliff, then people will take that cliff curve a heck of a lot slower and more cautiously than if guardrails are up there. And so the same logic would seem to apply here. If you've got some helmet that claims that it's going to protect you from concussions, then it seems likely people are going to hit harder.
Yeah, it's possible. And again,
I don't know if that's something to celebrate. I don't know if that's something to get excited about.
No. They've never made claims that it's going to make you 100% free of concussions. It's just there to help reduce impact, and it does a good job of that. I'm just exploring again human nature and how some people may react to it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But one But one other thing I want to mention, I'm hearing about, I forget his name. I just recently heard about a special quarterback that he had a lot of training as a kid in baseball. And he was training for baseball up until almost his college years. So then he switched over to football. And a lot of people are talking about him in the news because he can throw a lot farther as a quarterback. He could throw like way farther, and he has way more throws throughout his games. And I just thought that was an interesting thing to comment on as well. Is that that's another further thing that could lead, if more quarterbacks copy that training regimen, that could further lead to players spreading out across the field. Because you don't want as many impacts with the linemen, because even small impacts can result in concussion. And if you got a guy quarterbacks that are throwing farther, again, you open up the field, and so that's the game could switch from. The
linemen are still going to hit each other because somebody's still going after the quarterback.
Right? Yeah, they got to block.
I don't know what is going to happen to football in the future, but I've advocated for flag football because I think I find these guys.
Who wants to watch that though?
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Isn't it?
Don't grab my flag! Don't grab my flag! Ooh, you got it! No, it's not the same thing.
Nobody's going to watch
these people hurt each other.
It's the reason why people watch a lot of sports is to see the destruction, to see the violence, the conflict. There's more coming. It's sad, but that's. Hey, I'm not into sports, but whatever. 855-450 free, whatever it is that floats your boat. 855-450-3733, as long as it's voluntary.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
You can't win if you don't enter, and you actually can improve your chances of winning a prize drawing if you wrinkle up your entry blank. I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com, and I speak from experience. Why this works: if they'll be spinning the drum before drawing, your entry blank will move around more than, and not adhere to, other perfectly flat entry blanks. And if they don't spin the drum and merely reach into a box full of other perfectly flat entry blanks, many of which are sticking together, yours will feel different to the person reaching in. When you win, act surprised. And if you're looking for work, this is a metaphor. For more tips on sticking out in a world where just too much blends into the blah, 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 hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live.
Why do you refer to someone that's a genetic anomaly as a boy pretending to be a girl, as if this was just some whim they took into their head overnight, as opposed to somebody who is actually born with a genetic problem, which means their mind and their body are mismatched?
We're not talking about the ones that have the
to X and Y. We're talking about the boy who just decided...
Have you ever actually met and had a conversation with a transsexual?
No.
Well, it would actually be really a good idea to dispel some of your ignorance before you start spouting it all over national radio like there's not enough ignorance to go around in America. Goodbye. Bye, Felicia.
Oh, man.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And also, we've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. And in the studio with you tonight, it's Ian,
Vincent,
and Mark.
Don't forget, you can follow us on our Twitch channel over at twitch.lrn.fm, where tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, right after this live radio show is over, we'll be doing a live stream, video streamed only to Twitch. It will not be available on any other platform except for Twitch in its live format, which means you can join us and interact with us on a non-FCC censored platform. So it'll be different. It'll still be Free Talk Live in that it'll be open phones or open lines, as it always is, and we'll see how that goes. I think it'll be fun, a little experimental internet-only radio. We don't do after shows very often, but we're doing this one, and we'll see how it works out. If it works out pretty well, yeah, maybe we'll do it again. So, Ian, Vincent, and Mark here. You can bring up whatever you want. Vincent, I think you were going to get into something here, but I spaced out on what it was. Oh, yeah, the Proud Boys. That's what it did. Were we done with whatever it was we were talking about?
We spent the entire, almost the first 2 hours talking about weed. I guess we're pretty done about that.
So, the Proud Boys. Now, this is a topic that has come up previously here on Free Talk Live. They've been in the news as kind of the right-wing counter that's not supposedly, at least they market themselves as not white supremacists. Am I right about that?
Oh yeah, Gavin always brags about how many quote minority or he always brags how diverse it is.
So, but they're basically a right-wing alternative to Antifa, right? Without being the white supremacists?
Well, I wouldn't say alternative to Antifa. So, like what Gavin describes...
Are they conflicting with Antifa? Well, like fighting with them in the streets?
Well, it's always at their events, right? And
Whose
Gavin
events?
at sort of, I guess, right-wing or however you want to call it, events.
You're saying Antifa shows up.
Yeah, they always show up. And so Gavin, this is what he claims. I haven't looked into it too much, but from what I see in the news, I believe
the Proud Boys.
Yeah, who also founded Vice Media. He's a supposed comedian. He's a hipster, and some people say this is one gigantic joke, but it's taking a dark turn. But yeah, I mean, is it a stupid group? You know, I don't agree with what they do, but I think
what do they do?
Well, they it's sort of like a bros club, right? They call it Western chauvinism or whatever that means.
But basically, they don't seem to do anything amazing. They prefer their women to stay at home. It seems,
like in the kitchen,
at the very least,
like the classic role of the woman, basically.
I think that they want to give a place to women to be able to choose to do that.
Well, it's not entirely based on... So, from what I understand, because I've listened to Gavin do interviews, and so I never heard him talk about that towards women. I mean, he certainly idealizes the 1950, the fake 1950s idealism, right?
Right, the decade he didn't live through.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. The
Happy Days was a great show.
White picket fence and the lawn, white picket fence, dog and the lawn and such. And it's just like he says it's like a bros club, and the violence that happens is because and I'm not saying these guys aren't are angels, but Antifa shows up at like the deplorable, and they do all sorts of stuff, and these guys try and defend themselves, defend the speakers, and it's heavily one-sided. I mean, it's certainly not fair, the coverage they've been getting.
Did you want to share the story from The Guardian? Apparently the FBI now classifying the Proud Boys as extremists?
Well, according to documents, right? No one's officially come out and confirmed anything just quite yet.
But the documents are public?
That's what the article gets into.
Okay.
Well, that's confirmation. I mean, if you've got official documents, that's an official confirmation. That's all you need.
Yeah, it was pretty. So the lead begins. The FBI now classifies the far-right Proud Boys as a, quote, extremist group with ties to white nationalism, according to a document produced by Washington State law enforcement. The FBI's 2018 designation of the self-confessed, quote, Western chauvinist group as extremist.
Before you go on, to say that somebody's got ties to blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, we are explicitly anti-racist here on Free Talk Live. If somebody calls in with racism, we take them apart piece by piece. If people are in our chat room using racist terminology, they just get banned, usually with no warning whatsoever. We don't really, we're willing to talk about racism. It's not like it's a topic that's off the table. You can call in and be a racist. We're going to have it out with you.
But I find the amount of melanin in someone's skin to be about the least interesting thing about them.
Right. But do we have ties to a white supremacist group? Well, we got ties to Chris Cantwell. He used to be on the show.
Right.
He was a co-host on Free Talk Live. I think it was Wednesday nights were his nights, and he was there for like 2 solid years before we found out that he was a racist and ended up disconnecting with him.
I think he sort of moved towards that.
Right. He became a racist. We didn't know that he was previously, and he didn't give any indication that he was previously. But does that mean we have ties to him? I would say it probably does mean that, because we have ties to him. It doesn't mean we agree with him. I'm not sure what they mean by this.
Well, and I'm glad you bring that up, because they talk about the SPLC here, Southern Poverty Law Center, and that's how they smear people. That's how they slander people, right? You're in the SPLC's database in one of the articles. I remember I read it on Questioning Authority once. The article, you're a far right sovereign citizen extremist. So
ridiculous.
And that's, and they try and paint people to scare as many people as possible, all these buzzwords.
Don't forget that they put out the videos advising police and citizens about sovereign citizens, with sovereign citizens shooting cops and all that other stuff. They basically
They're all like this.
Ian a cop killer. Yeah. This is what they do. The Southern Poverty Law Center is an organization that jumped the shark a long time ago and went full-on retard statist. I mean, it's just crazy.
And for a period of time, the FBI would take their counsel. Same with the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, although that's all they do is defame other people that they just disagree with. And for a period of time, law enforcement would take their advice and expertise, which is why you have the Proud Boys. I know some dudes club, an extremist, but when you have Antifa, like what was it, Redneck Revolt, who shows up at events with guns and intimidates people, or Austin Red Guard, who shows up with guns and intimidate people, they're fine. They're allowed to go and walk around and threaten people with impunity, while this group of just a bunch of basement-dwelling computer guys, no offense to basement dwellers, they're extremists.
I don't know what to do with with all of that stuff. For one, I wonder why people would want to go out and have a big giant event, to say, I do these things.
Money.
This is my stuff and things.
To make money.
Yeah, I
guess.
Publicity. Yeah, I don't really understand that.
Well, wait, you talking about the Proud Boys?
Yeah.
So my understanding, again, I have a very rudimentary understanding based on only a handful of people who've called in about them over the last couple of years, but my understanding is they have these events to kind of counter the events that are coming from the Antifa folks.
Why?
So
I don't know about
a showing of strength, a showing of relevance.
Well, that's like Unite for Right, or they call it like free speech events, right? Like I went to the first Boston free speech event. It's just they have different speakers, left and right, go there and speak. The Deplorable. I don't know about some of the recent ones. That's where a bunch of pro-Trump media people got together and had a party, and just Antifa. They just no business there. It's not even a public event. They just show up and try and create havoc. They dump urine on people for water balloons.
But I remember there was one of them that they did out there, and maybe the Proud Boys weren't them. There was also the prayer group out in Portland.
Patriot
Prayer, which seems to have some crossover between those two groups from my, again, basic understanding of it. But they came out and they responded, did their own kind of protest event. In their case, it was they were protesting in favor of law enforcement. So they wanted wanted to cheer on the police because the police are their allies when they're going up against
which
Antifa.
They aren't. The police almost always defend Antifa, especially in those blue states like Oregon. Yes. And it's just the most ridiculous. I don't know if it's Stockholm syndrome or just being stupid. I know it's like the blue virus.
But they went out there to do that, Mark. They went out there to be seen in favor of, hey, we're not the Antifa people aren't the only ones who can protest. We can protest a thing too. Is my understanding of it.
Okay. I wouldn't go.
Well, I know, but you're against protests.
Generally, am, yeah.
Yes, I mean, that makes sense.
And I can tell you this, if I was a Portland police officer, I wouldn't do anything to protect those people. I've been in Portland very recently. The place is a cesspool. They're setting up huts on the sidewalk. I mean,
homeless people, right?
The homeless people have moved from tents to huts. They're not getting moved off. There was actually a little altar display protest thing that's like, we hate cops, cops die kind of thing. Got pictures of it. I don't know. It's crazy stuff.
We got time for you if you want to join us here. This is Free Talk Live. You can take control of the airwaves. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. That's AnyPay.global.
Bags under the eyes, crow's feet, fine lines and wrinkles are things adults complain about as they age. Now there's Instantly Ageless. It works in minutes and is great for men and women. Here's a clip from The Rachel Ray Show testing the results of Instantly Ageless.
Board-certified dermatologist Dr. Whitney Bowe.
If you're looking to try to turn back the clock on a budget, in the privacy of your own home, but actually there's some recent technologies emerging, almost like changes the behavior of the skin while it sits on the skin.
She went off to try a product called Instantly Ageless.
Yeah, instantly you could see a difference. Even the cameraman were like, wow, look at the difference.
Yeah,
but I would definitely use this product.
This product, within minutes of applying it, it was actually a very dramatic rejuvenation.
Try Instantly Ageless today at GCNlife.com. That's GCNlife.com. 30-day money-back guarantee and preferred price discount at GCNlife.com. That's GCNlife.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Moments remain. There's enough time here for you. We're talking about the so-called Proud Boys, which apparently the FBI now classifying them as a extremist group with ties to white nationalism, whatever it is that means. We're going to continue with that here. Of course, your calls and thoughts are welcome. Ian, Vincent, and Mark here in the studio tonight. Don't forget to follow us on Twitch and get ready for the very first ever Twitch after show, Twitch only. Twitch is a streaming video platform. You can also do an audio-only stream, so you don't have to watch us on Twitch. You can still just listen if you want. And it's a way for you to listen and watch the show. And if you're watching, it's in HD quality. And we're there every single night with our live radio show. But tonight we're doing our first ever after show live on Twitch. Twitch.lrn.fm. That's how you can go there. Grab the app for your smartphone. Then you can just subscribe or rather follow our channel. If you want to subscribe, that's a whole other thing. That involves either ponying up $5 a month, or you can subscribe via your Twitch Prime, as they call it. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can link up your Amazon and Twitch accounts, and then you can subscribe, and you get, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you get one free Twitch subscription every single month. And that's because Amazon owns Twitch. They bought that platform a few years ago. And so that's one of your perks. If you might not have even known about that perk as an Amazon Prime subscriber. It's
true.
So go and follow the instructions on the full website over at twitch.lrn.fm. As we go to Sarah in New Mexico, we can talk more about the Proud Boys here in a moment. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Vincent, and Mark.
Yes, I'm just so excited that we have two socialist women elected to Congress this election. Of course, one is the youngest. One elected is Cortez from New York.
This is the girl who said she can't even afford to move to D.C.?
Right.
Didn't she get caught wearing like a $4,000 dress?
It was like $3,000, yeah. Or the accumulated cost of all the clothes was $3,000.
Yeah, what's up with that, Sarah? I thought that like socialists valued being poor.
I never heard about the dresses. Who knows?
No?
I don't know.
Well, you're hearing about it now. So do you have a comment on it?
Would you find that acceptable, unacceptable? What do you think? If it were true, let's just take it as a given. We have to do that tonight.
I don't know. I do not know where she got the dress. You could be donated.
It wasn't Salvation Army.
Well,
somebody who knows things about clothes assessed her clothing and said, this is this clothing, this is this clothing, this comes from this designer, and this total cost would be about several $1,000s.
What does that matter? As far as like there's real communists that are working and
is she a real communist if she's wearing a $4,000 outfit?
Well, I got a lot of expensive stuff that I got for free, so it could be donated. So
my guess would be it's probably given by the designer for promotional purposes.
And instead of wearing it, if she cared about the poor, she would sell it, wear like modest clothing, and then, use that money to benefit the community.
She certainly wouldn't promote it. The idea of spending, frivolously spending your money on, clothing. I mean, that's all the good commies wear this sort of green jumpsuit with a military hat, right, Sarah?
Or the Che shirts.
Well, you know what? That's not important. It's the communists.
That's
they
right. Just
established.
ignore
They
it.
help expand welfare and disability. And
So
Social
stealing from
Security
productive
and
people?
universal healthcare.
Why would you want to expand that?
Well, because it's supposed to take care of poor people. That
Sarah,
are needy,
poor
instead
people
of,
are fine. You know poor people, right?
Well, I'm a poor person.
I understand you are. I did not make
the
the claim that you weren't, but you know a lot of poor people, right?
Yeah. So,
Are they fat?
What? So, you know what? You guys attack communism because
No,
welfare
I
and
attack
food is a communist
hypocrisy. The idea that somebody in the United States is poor is ridiculous. You can't be both poor and fat.
program. You know what? We got 5,000 homeless people here, adults, that are starving in New Mexico.
They are not starving.
If you could buy a cheeseburger for
They are not
for
starving.
the size of your head for $5, you can't starve.
Yeah, middle class people are starving because they're doing intermittent fasting. The poor people are not starving. They're dying early from heart disease.
They have a garbage food they eat.
Now, on the other hand, I do have a headline here tonight. Report from Breitbart, 80% of Venezuelans short of food. Now, you want to talk about starving, you can go down and live in the so-called socialist paradise of Venezuela. Hey, why don't you move down to Venezuela, Sarah? It sounds like it might be a nice place.
It's communist.
But you know what? All of the communist countries, Venezuela, North Korea, and Russia, they put sanctions to make it fail. The socialism won't
work. Wait. Why wouldn't socialism work if there's sanctions? I mean, what does socialism have to do with being able to do business with people outside of your country?
Well, you know what? Iraq was communist. They wanted to sell the oil to get medications, but they put sanctions on it, and they bombed all the.
So what you're saying is
Iraq was most certainly not socialist. It was like Baha'i or Ba'ath. It was a Ba'ath party, or something. It was some sort of like descendant. I think it might be a descendant of fascism. But no, Iraq tried to compete with the U.S. dollar, and that's why they got taken out.
Well, wait a minute. Are you saying, Sarah, that in order for socialism to be successful, they have to have relatively free trade?
Well, yeah, I mean, they have to be able to trade with different countries, like China.
So what you're saying is a socialist country cannot stand on its own. The socialist country does not have the ability to take care of itself without help from the outside.
Well, it's got to have trade. Well, you know what? I mean, if you have to be able to. Trade. Like,
so would you agree then, if you have to be able to trade, would you agree then that there should be no barriers to trade whatsoever, regardless of the kind of government that you have?
Well, if I could have it that way, but the capitalists like Trump will put a stop to it.
Well, there's certainly true that socialists and capitalists and fascists or whoever, these different governments that are out there have put in barriers to free trade.
There are no capitalist governments, Ian. It's called crony capitalism or corporate fascism.
Sure.
I don't play definition games with people that don't agree with my terms. So when it comes to people want to hate capitalism, fine. I'm not going to try to redefine capitalism.
Well, I said that for the benefit of the audience, though. All right. Yeah, Sarah's a lost cause at this
point.
Sarah,
thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate it.
So capitalism was a term created, as I understand it, by Marx and Engels, but certainly around that time frame to describe what they were seeing, and which was sort of corporatism, mercantilism, these kinds of things. So the critiques against capitalism tend to be okay. It's the anarcho-capitalists, Murray Rothbard, the Rothbardians, and these kind of people wanted to reclaim this term and basically say that capitalism is free trade absent of government. But it isn't, really. Or if it is, it's just not worth arguing about. So the one thing you can do is that you can usually get people to agree that there's the free market.
Or Austrian.
Right, and they know what that is. And you can't. Then they can't argue. Look, if we argue for the free market, they can't argue. Oh, but capitalism, because they've been, their whole lives they're inundated with the notion of capitalism is the thing that they're dealing with. And then you want to turn that on its head. You may be right, but it's just not worth the argument. Is what I would say.
Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE like freedom. We were talking about the Proud Boys, which is a men's group. Kind of a right-wing seeming men's group, although hasn't the guy who's founded this group been described as a libertarian at some point, or no?
Probably, but it's like Gavin is like a comedian, or he's somewhat of a pseudo-comedian. I don't know. So it's like the line is so muddled, right? Because with these people, if they say something like shocking, they're like, oh, I just said it as a joke. But then like they try and be a serious movement. It's just very hard to tell. Some people like former like co-hosts of Gavin, like Mike D of Red Bar, they say he's just gone off the deep end.
Mike D is a former co-host of Gavin?
Oh no, I mean comrade, associate.
Okay.
Have they been on the same show together?
I think they were on Compound Media. Or somehow they know each other because, Mike David talked a lot about it's like the downfall of Gavin. You have a Proud Boys, just the mess it is.
Mike D's been on Free Talk Live many years ago.
The host of Red Bar Radio.
Yeah.
And he was also a caller. He made it into one of our promos, the George Bush Pony promo.
Yeah,
that's Mike D.
He got us. Yeah,
that was a good one. Hey, I know there's probably more to say about the Proud Boys. I don't know if we should continue that in our after show. I don't have any real plan for this thing. I just know
it'll go the way it goes.
We're gonna do it.
I think the listeners are going to call it.
You think the Twitch viewers are going to call?
The Discord people are going to call in and kind of mess with us. Probably.
Yeah, it's going to be open lines as it always is. It's going to be happening here in just minutes over on our Twitch channel. So join us there over at twitch.lrn.fm. And there's a goal behind all of this. I'm hoping that we can actually, like, I don't know, get people to follow the Twitch channel, and so we can grab some more extra views on there. Because the more views we have on Twitch, the more viewers we'll get on Twitch.
It's one of those things
Twitch,
you bump it up.
Right. Twitch orders your the channels and the categories by how many viewers there are. So the higher you are on those charts, the more likely people are going to see you, which means they're more likely to watch you and hopefully grow the numbers.
Big platform.
All right, so stay tuned over at twitch.lrn.fm. Follow us there. We'll be starting there in moments. And for more Free Talk Live on the radio and podcasts, of course, go any old time to freetalklive.com. We got more on Twitch.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
Who told you can go this way? You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video